Hi, and welcome to Fuzzy Guard, Esports Stories from the Bar. My name is SamDDing, and I've been in this industry for about 5 years. Now let's bring some other esports professionals to the pub. Alright, but here we are, ladies and gentlemen, we are here in Fuzzy Guard. I was about to say we're back with Fuzzy Guard as if we just took a break. I've got Globku. What's going on, dude?
Hey Sam, thanks for having me, man. I have been religiously watching Fuzzy Guard episodes.
Oh no.
And I can safely say that I still do not know what this podcast is about. I've enjoyed the episodes, but I still have no idea what to expect out of the next one. I don't know what's going on here.
I think it's
I support you. I love you.
Thank you.
And I want you to succeed.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I think the idea is just sounds like chats in a bar. So I mean, you know, if the chat kind of veers more towards stupid conversations that you had with some I don't know, model or thing like that. Oh, actually, I'll get onto that in a minute. But you know, or if it actually breaks down into, like, I was just reviewing the one that's coming out next week, and it was there was a lot of like indie Tekken talk as well, which is kind of my only rule. I don't want to talk about the video games at a deep level and stuff, but you know, sometimes the conversation just swings that way and stuff, you know.
Sometimes you're in a pub and you start talking video games.
That's it.
Know?
That's exactly.
That's not outside of the rules.
No, absolutely
What are you
not.
drinking today?
Yeah,
I know how this goes.
Okay, you've seen it. I'm back on the Jameson, but I also have an emergency bottle of Captain Morgan if I get sick out of it. I'm starting neat on my whiskey, just, you know, to get myself feeling a little bit spry and Irish. But what about you? What have you got?
I have brought the proud of my hometown. It is a port. Have you ever had a port?
I have had a port. Port is a great hangover cure.
Port is my favorite drink. I hate wine. All kinds. There have been very few wines that I actually liked, and port is my favorite, and it is actually a wine too. But it doesn't taste anything like wine. I mean, you've tried it. So.
Yeah, it's a slightly sweeter. It's a fortified wine. I don't know what the process of fortification is when it comes to wine and stuff, but yeah, a white port.
I should know because it is done. It is made here. So. It is our biggest export.
Really, port? Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, from my town specifically.
Right.
It's the biggest town, city, port. I mean, it's Porto. So the wine takes the name after this one. So this is a reserve ruby from Grams, which I have not tasted. It's completely sealed.
Let's go.
20%. So it should be a good time.
Of course, we're about to have a wild time. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, this is going to be one of the more interesting ones because in terms of esports. Oh, I like that pop though. Yeah. It's like the pirate opening a bottle of rum.
Oh,
oh, have you got the little port glass as well?
Dude, this is my favorite drink. What do you think?
Nice. Sláinte. How do you say it in Portuguese?
Oh, it's gonna be a good day. Saúde.
Saúde. We say sláinte here.
Sounds like a spicy sauce.
Yeah. You just top it up with some sláinte, boy. Yeah, I mean, so as far as esports goes, you're kind of you're kind of
nobody.
But your knowledge of the world and stuff is quite limited as well and stuff. Am I right in saying that? I don't want to upset you. Like
no. I think you're right. I said I'm a nobody in the world of esports. I think it's really cool that you have invited me. I think the variety and like it keeps guests sort of unpredictable for the podcast. Because I'm mostly a content creator in the world of esports. I'm taking my first steps as a commentator now.
Yeah.
And it's been going great. I mean, I started at the beginning of 2023. I grinded through January like crazy. I was on the mic like 2-3 times a week.
Jeez, let's go.
Yeah. And I slowed down in February. But I started getting bigger things, you know, so like being a bit more picky. So in the first month, it was more like, let's get on the mic as much as possible, get the experience, feel comfortable on the mic. And it was kind of natural as a content creator, I think, especially I think if you're a YouTuber, not so much as a streamer, because a streamer needs to be like in focus, needs to be on at all times, and cannot make mistakes and then edit them out. So, like, streamers have that skill already pre-acquired. It's not the same as being a commentator. It's not a one-to-one thing. There are things to work on still.
Yeah.
But since I have a lot of streaming experience, it was not a very hard adaptation to make, adjustments.
Yeah.
And after January, it was like, okay, I actually already have enough clips to make a highlight reel if I want to.
Let's go.
Like a commentator reel. But I haven't done that yet. I have a method, and I don't know how you do this. Do you just do VOD review and then grab clips for your reel? How do you do it?
This is actually a really interesting thing that a Rocket League commentator told me, because we were talking about reels and stuff, because I in my life have made one show reel, and that was in 2018, maybe the start of 2019, and it was just clips of me screaming, like the entire way through. It was and so since then, it's just because, I mean, the Tekken scene is so small, people saw that show, so I get booked for that show, and then snowballs from there. So I never really had to make a good reel. But I was talking to this Rocket League dude, and he said this madness. He said when people ask to see your show reel, it's not to see if you can commentate. It's to see what your personality is like, how comfortable you are in front of a camera, like, can you gel with a lot of different styles of people. So the stuff that you don't think about, like in terms of making a commentary reel, you want that huge big clip of you screaming as this clutch combo wins the game. It's actually not, that's not what people want to see in terms of, like, it's not commentators that watch commentary reels. It's like producers and, you know, event organizers. So they just want to know that they can just put you in front of a camera and leave you there for 2 hours and be sure that it's going to be funny, it's going to be entertaining. Like, if you're sending them the commentary reel and they're taking the time to view it, they know you can commentate.
Right, but that kind of thing, that never comes across in a commentary reel, no matter what clips you select.
Sure.
Like, a producer will never know that, okay, we're having technical difficulties, let's just put the camera on Sam and he'll take care of it. Like, they will never know that just from a commentary reel. They would have to follow your work and to actually know that, right?
Yeah, but I think the kind of rookie mistake with making a commentary reel is show them your hypest clips from commentary. Like,
I see what you mean.
Obviously,
just hype after hype after hype.
Yeah, which is what I did in like a couple of years ago, and like I've talked to production managers now who I've worked with and who I had sent my reel years ago, and they never got back to me. It was like, yeah, it's just you screaming for 2 minutes. Like, it's literally, it's just, it sounds like I'm in an argument with something, like, oh my god, what the hell is going on, you know? And yeah, I mean, in my head, that was my strength. I was the loud boy, I was the noise maker, like, and stuff. And it turns out that, like, sitting down, talking, joking, laughing, you know, doing, like, making shills sound natural is like another skill that, like, a lot of people, it takes them a lot to just be like, oh, remember guys, check out the Matcherino, like, you know, being able to say that when somebody in your head goes, guys, we need to push the Matcherino here, just do it once more before grand finals. Like, that
is a hard skill to convey through a commentary reel, because having the skill, and that is something that I'm starting to get to now, which is being able to listen to your producer while talking in the conversation. Yeah. Like, do not interrupt the talk. Do not, like, look up or anything because you heard a voice.
Yeah.
Do not react to the voice in any way. Just hear the information, keep talking, and absorb it, and then transition into whatever you've been asked to transition.
Yeah.
That never comes across in a commentary reel.
Dude, it's so funny.
Because you never know, right?
I mean,
you don't hear the voice.
Of course, if you're good at it, you'll never know.
Exactly.
But like, those sort of weird skills transfer out to, like, real life for me, and I never quite realized it, that if somebody is talking to me, sometimes I'll just, like, look away and I'll be, like, focused on something else, and they're like, are you even listening? And I'm like, yes, of course I'm listening. I don't need to make eye contact with you to listen, but I suppose in normal,
we're going to Matcherino now.
Yeah. But I think I'm just so used to, you know, because especially if I'm sat right beside my co-commentator, we're watching this thing but listening to each other. So I don't need to zero in on you to have this conversation. Like, I can be focused on my drink or anything like that. Well, where I'm still listening to everything that you're saying and processing that information. But in the real world, in the human world, that's rude or something.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, that's how your nonverbal language conveys that you have that person's like undivided attention. It's making eye contact. It's nodding once in a while. It's what you're doing right now.
Oh damn! Damn, you're just calling me out.
Yeah, if you look away, I mean, you're still listening, and to you it may feel fine, but the other person feels like, okay, there's something else that's more important than what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Something else that's more important to Sam than me talking, and that doesn't feel great.
No, sure. I mean, I do understand that it's kind of an odd thing that I do, but yeah, it's just warped my brain of being a commentator for too long now. Like, you know.
Yeah, I understand. But yeah, I asked this because I've started doing something that I don't know if other commentators do, or if it's common or not. But I start a stopwatch every time I start commentating, and every time there is a moment that I'm like, nice, I nailed that. I mark the stopwatch, and that's how I take all my clips for a commentary reel.
That's
like I do some VOD review, but with the intent of doing a VOD review, of like listening to myself and seeing what I need to improve on commentary. But if I need to go into a VOD to download clips, I'm not scanning the VOD.
Sure.
I'm going to the timestamps.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all I do. I don't know if that's something you've heard of other people doing.
I don't know anybody that like actually has their own timer. What I have heard about people just going to whatever clips were made on Twitch and just finding that sort of stuff, because that
sourcing them from the community. Nice.
Yeah, exactly. What do other people relate as like a big bit? But I suppose that can kind of just be a lot of shouting clips, like, you know, big combos and that sort of stuff, so it might get lost in it. I mean, I think go with your gut. I think that's a really good thing. If you feel like you did well on that, take that, clip that, and like analyze why it was good, like what felt good about that sort of stuff, you know.
Yeah, I'm very liberal with the timestamps. I'm like, okay, that felt good, and I timestamp it, and then I go watch the clip, and I'm like, no, that wasn't good, but that's fine. I have like 7 clips. I made 4 of them into the final commentary reel. That's fine.
Nice.
That's totally okay. Yeah.
Nice, awesome. So how do you find like the difference between, like, obviously they're 2 different worlds, but from where you come in content creation of doing, you know, the big, okay, new patch comes out, you read down to the patch, you make a script, you go into your studio, and you kind of work that out to like that sort of super fast. Are there cons? Is there skills that you prefer you would have learned before, or
what's the question?
Like, what's as far as the difference between content creation and commentary, the sort of pre-recorded and the live stuff?
Okay, yeah, that has nothing to do with each other. I think there's a much closer comparison to be done between the live streaming and the commentary. Because content creation is just a completely different process. It is downloading the information, it is condensing it into a script, it is transforming that script into something that feels appealing and, you know, that you think your audience will react well to, will be engaged throughout the whole thing. It's a lot of polishing that script, so it's not okay. Let's take the balance changes, the patch notes, that example that you just dropped. If you just go through the patch notes, that video is boring as hell. Like, sure. You will lose a lot of people. If you have the ability to tell a story of what throughout the patch notes, and people can be engaged from start to finish. So you can start with a format that I've done is like, okay, here are the biggest winners. And if people here are the biggest winners, they're looking at the buffs, those are insane, but they already know subconsciously, if these are the biggest winners, we're going to talk about the biggest losers up next.
Right.
And it's kind of in between. Kind of doesn't matter. Because a patch notes often have like, okay, here's 20 changes for 20 different characters. But the patch will only be remembered by the biggest changes.
Sure.
The small things are a big deal if you main those characters. But that's it. That's a very small minority.
Yeah.
So usually, like, they either end up being throwaway mentions during the video, or they are placed in a situation where it doesn't ruin the rest of the story. So that's the big difference there, because like everything is so chewed out. Like, you really chew on that script before you put it out. You know, you really polish it. And then the recording process, you can make as many mistakes as you want. The energy levels have nothing to do with commentary. With commentary, you cannot have the energy that you have on content creation because you will die.
Right.
You can be on at like 90% all the time. You can be at 90% hype at all the time in content creation. In commentary, because it is a much longer process, you have to be down there at the 40 with like 100% peaks. And you have to be able to manage that energy. You just can't do it. It's impossible to be at the 90 at all times.
Sure. That's really interesting. Just what you were talking about creating a story, because obviously the commentator's dream is to have a running, like, almost arc through your entire block that then resolves in, so you'll say something about regional differences or whatever. It almost sounds the same. Like, I mean, obviously if I read patch notes, I don't think about a thread or something that I can run through that, but as soon as I see a block of pools, I will make sure these guys are enemies, like, in what I say. And then when they finally meet up, this is the climax of, everything has been building up to this match, like,
Yeah. Now imagine you have that pool, but you've had the time to study every matchup possible, and you've had the time to write your own story about it. Now, it's not infinite time, obviously. You still need to put out that content in a timely manner, but you can think about it before you say anything. So, like, you can make a plan, and that's basically what content creation ends up being. It's a very hard thing to do live, and sometimes the story kind of falls into your lap, and good commentators will take advantage of that, for sure.
Yeah, and then sometimes the story just falls apart as well, and like you just have to
gotta be ready to adapt.
Yeah,
to the narrative.
You drop that like arc and just move on to something new.
Because you are telling a story on something that is ongoing. It's not something that has happened already. It's not the same.
Yeah,
you can't think of the whole story. You don't know where the story is going to end if you're commentating.
Yep.
So you're building up to something that you don't know what it is.
Yeah. I suppose I never thought about it like that. Yeah. It's just scream when it's big. That's
Do you have any like narratives that you're proud of? I remember you talking about one with Dunk on episode 2. Where someone was like, "No, actually, we're very good friends."
Oh yeah, it's the two groups in London, and I was just saying that, like, there's a rivalry there because they're both from the same city or whatever. Like, it was grand finals or something, and I was like,
Do you have any other like narratives that you're really proud of? Do you remember any off the top of your head?
God, I don't know, because I mean, I suppose you kind of pick them up and drop them very, very quickly. That you kind of, I mean, your goal for every broadcast is to create some sort of story. I suppose the ones that kind of do work out, like, it's so easy if somebody gets knocked down into losers bracket and then comes and resets the bracket and wins the show. I think that one is it's the kind of story that everyone wants to see. Like, because you can immediately make the guy who won winners final, he's the bad guy, and he already has the upper hand. He's coming at this from an advantageous position, whereas the guy is battling all through losers bracket. He had to beat this guy, he had to beat this guy, he had to beat this guy just to play this guy again, man. This guy stole his girlfriend, he scratched his car and that sort of stuff. So I really, really like those, because it's so easy. Like, you don't really, whereas if it's, the one guy smashes through the bracket, kills everyone, and just wins the tournament outright. Those tend to be the more difficult ones to do, because you have to make it sound interesting that the winner won. Like,
right. It becomes about the second place, right?
Yeah.
It becomes about, like, who can beat this guy, this unstoppable force. But I guess you're right. Like, if someone is making an insane losers round, they are just building themselves up as the protagonist of that tournament story. Of course. But then the villain wins, and what do you do?
I mean, but like, you kind of have to, like, embrace that, and like, you kind of, I do a thing, and I've noticed that if I'm building up this story and say like that, like the villain wins, like or whatever, I literally go, oh no, as in this is a bad thing now that he just got a launch, like or whatever, you know. And you know, you kind of have
I'm
to.
worried about doing that. Like, I want to be respectful to every player. That player won out of skill, but so, like, no, but you're right. I should be focused on the story and not on like being respectful of the player or whatever. Because even though that's important, like it's not important to the 99% watching, and that's who I'm working for.
This is
I'm not working for the
exactly
player.
you are speaking my language here. I mean, the top players, they're not watching for your knowledge of the frames. Like they want to hear these anime hyperbolic chamber things. You know, it was a bloodbath. Use words like
you're a Dragon Ball commentator.
Yeah. But you know, like all of these like big words, that's what people want to hear. Like they don't want to hear, yeah, he's really utilizing his down 4-1 in his kind of pressure here. He's got him towards the wall now, so I mean he's just gonna keep hitting that down 4-1 because you know there's nothing what they want to hear is he's gut punching, he's punching him in the guts, his insides are all mixed up now and his back is to the wall. Like, you know, it's just a much better story, even for people that do know why he's doing that, or you know, like the frame data behind it. Like, you know, I feel like I've mentioned this in every podcast I've done, but I commentate for everyone else, not the top players.
When I started making fighting game content, it was kind of a shock to see how many people would be gate kept by notation. Like,
Really?
so many people in the comments would be like, what is a 2H? And I'm like, okay, well, I could explain, but there's too many of these comments. I'm not going to get to all of them. So I started just, instead of saying 2H, I started saying down heavy.
Right.
And suddenly no one's asking that anymore.
Yeah.
It's obvious. It's obvious what it is. So I even in commentary, I tried my best to not say notations ever. Sometimes, you know, I'm used to saying notations because it's part of the lingo.
It's how we talk to each other. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And there are moves that are known by the notation.
Yeah.
Like there are moves that you don't even, or you could say universal overhead, but 6M is so much easier.
Yeah, of course. But the same with like Street Fighter stuff. Like a Dragon Punch is DP. Like, and like it doesn't matter if
so many people ask me what a DP is. So many. Like every time I say, "Oh, this move is a DP." What's a DP? Okay, well.
Sit down, kids, by the fireplace, and let me tell you some history.
I think like, even though like I cover a lot of different games and sometimes not even fighting games, one of the main games that I covered last year was Demon Slayer, which is an arena fighter, and I think I kind of brought the word DP into that community.
Oh, really?
The competitive community actually calls stuff DPs now. And I think it's because like I started doing that because this move's a DP.
I mean,
and I never explained it. It's a DP. Figure it out. You're gonna figure it out.
Google it, bro. Google it.
Yeah, and I think they're calling stuff that is invincible. Just stuff that is invincible is DPs now.
I like that. So you said when you started doing fighting game content, I just assumed that you had always done anime fighting game content. Like, so you obviously were a YouTuber before, doing the sort of fighting game stuff. So when did you start? Like,
okay. Do you want the when did I actually make my first video answer, or do you want when did I start doing this full time or like as a job story?
Those are,
or both.
Those feel like those feel like interesting stories, though. I mean, so obviously every kid watching YouTube, I mean, from our generation, like, you know, watching, you know, the OGs like Jacksepticeye and Markiplier and that sort of stuff, everybody wants that job. But I mean, I think it's a very few people that go out, buy a webcam, buy a microphone, start thinking about content and that sort of stuff. So what was that turning point, almost going back from before you made your first video? Because that has to be a decision you make, right?
No, I don't think it was. I think there was. I chased the dream once I realized that the dream was possible, and I think it was PewDiePie that first made me realize. Wait, you can live off of this. Wait, hang on. But I was already doing it at the time.
Oh, okay. So you've been in this for a while then, yeah?
I can look up my first video. I will not share the link to my first video, but I can look up when my first video was made.
We'll have that down in the stream notes, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's unlisted. You won't find it. So, it might be private even. That is one I do not want to share. Because like I had this different channel at the time, and I was playing World of Warcraft, and somehow I found myself in the position of guild master.
Okay.
So as the guild master, at some point, I thought it would be cool if because we're not able to all be together at the same time during like events and whatnot, it would be cool if I made a video just updating everyone on what happened this week. And I started making these weekly vlogs on like just for the guild, just for the World of Warcraft guild on what happened. And that gave me some skills on December 3rd, 2010.
2010.
That's the first video.
So you've been doing this about 12 years. Damn. That's old school.
Yeah. So that was for the longest time all I did. And that was what gave me on-camera presence, getting comfortable with talking to a camera, some editing skills, some pacing, soundtrack, like everything. It was from those vlogs that I did for like a good 2 years, I think, before I did anything else. And most of those videos are still up. They're privated. There are some that are maybe public or unlisted on a completely different channel. It's the same channel, if you can find it, where I did some drum covers. I did drum covers.
You're a drummer?
Songs. Yes.
Let's go, dude. Damn, man.
And then I stopped playing World of Warcraft, but I made so many friends during those years with the guild and whatnot. Like we met up in real life a bunch of times too. I just like 2 years ago went to one of those guys' wedding in Belgium.
Damn.
So yeah, we became friends, and I did not want to lose touch, even though I was so sick of playing World of Warcraft. Like I couldn't take it anymore. But I stayed there for longer than I would normally because I was the guild master. Yeah, that's a position of responsibility, and a lot of people wanted me to keep it going because they wanted to keep going. Some players started quitting and whatnot, and I'm like, got to a point where I said, okay, at the end of this update, I'm done, and I'm leaving. So I made this different channel, and the video started to be public, which is the channel that I'm on today. If you go to the first video of the channel, that's what the video is about. It's like making this community. We voted on this name. It's called Magical Noob. It's the name of the community we're making, and it's basically a channel to show you guys what we're doing, what we're playing, because we're going to be jumping from game to game, but this way we kind of stick together. Even if you're not playing together, we're all watching what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
And that's how it started. And somewhere around that time is when I started noticing PewDiePie, Achievement Hunter, Rooster Teeth. Like, these guys have an office. They're paying salaries and stuff. What is going on? And I, just started seeing what works and what doesn't. But I totally did not know the first thing about content creation, like at all. It's just, I'm going to make what I want, which is the dream that a lot of kids are chasing nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
They want to make a gaming channel because they want to play games all day and just like record some commentary gameplay, upload it, and like, okay, that shit's going to bomb because no one wants to watch that. The content creator job is not that. And a lot of people will not realize that until they try it and fail.
Right.
Yeah. And at some point, I got a job from a company as a streamer. They were trying to build a Twitch presence, and I was on a mailing list. I'm like, all right, I can stream. And they got me streaming on their channel like twice a week or so. That company was TGN. Then they disbanded the stream team, but they liked my work, so they put me on the YouTube team, youtube.com/TGN, which had 1 million subscribers. I was a video editor.
Damn.
Worked my way up to on-screen talent and script writer. So I was on 1 million sub channel YouTube.
Jeez.
Like coming up with ideas for videos, writing those videos, acting out those videos, and editing those videos. And at some point, that channel transitioned from like general gaming content into Overwatch content. And I liked Overwatch, but I didn't want to do Overwatch every day. But once again, they decided not to fire me. It's the second time I dodged the bullet because they really liked me and they saw the potential. And what they said was, okay, how about you create a brand new channel? How about you create a brand new TGN channel? And I had a few concepts. I pitched like 5 different concepts total, and the one they wanted to run with was TGN anime.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And that's when I started covering like anime games in general. Dragon Ball FighterZ got announced shortly after, and started making fighting game content from there. And then the channel wasn't making enough profit, so they shut it down. And I brought people over to my channel.
Nice. And
that's the long story short.
that's an incredible story. I mean,
12-year story.
damn, dude, that's a really, really cool sort of take. I suppose everybody I talk to about like how they got into the industry and stuff, it comes from a different place. It's usually live. I knew this guy who's running this event, like, or whatever. Whereas that is almost the sort of behind the scenes work that got you into the on camera stuff, like, you know.
What got me into the streaming, the TGN Twitch channel, was I was doing an internship at the time for my college degree, which was psychology. I was going to be a psychologist.
Damn.
And I was doing my internship, and I thought I can do something on the side. How about TGN was like a multi-channel network at the time, and I'm like, how about I do recruiting? I don't know the first thing about recruiting, but like they're offering a recruiting position, so I'm just going to recruit channels into the TGN network. I was already a partner with my own channel, so hey, why not? I'm going to be a recruiter. Oh, I sucked at my job. I did not recruit a single channel. I barely messaged any. So, but that got me on the mailing list. So when they sent out this email, say, "Oh my God, what happened, Sam?"
Well, just bounced the glass. Wow, that is my like second drink. What?
And that's how you say that you're bored of this story and we move on to the next topic.
Not at all. Not at all.
It's time for the game show, everybody. Let's go.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm so
I got
sorry.
on that mailing list, and they said, "Yo, does anyone know how to stream on Twitch?" And I'm like, I knew. So that's how I got into TGN. It never became like a full-time job until the YouTube side of things. So I did the whole streaming gig as like a part-time thing while doing my internship.
Mm-hmm.
But it did not become my full-time job until they put me on the YouTube team. So I became a full-time YouTuber because another company was paying me to do so. I did not make it there on my own.
Right.
How I think like I made it there on my own was because I grew the TGN anime channel with my own ideas. It wasn't on my own. Like I obviously had a big team behind me and a lot of support and research, and I learned a lot about YouTube during that time. Like a lot. I learned how to be a content creator. And so much so that when I left and started doing my own thing because they shut down the channel, people came over. But not as many people as you think. The channel had 100,000 subs at the time, and I believe my channel had 10,000. So I grew a 10,000 sub channel on my own before TGN, right?
Right.
And when I announced that I was leaving TGN Anime and I was going to keep doing what I was doing there on my own channel, we got up to like 20K in the first month.
Right.
So out of those 100,000, maybe 10,000 people came over.
Right.
Right now, the channel is at 330,000.
Damn, dude.
So that is organic. I would not say that was from TGN.
Sure.
That was from the lessons that TGN taught me 100%. Like I learned a lot with that channel, with that team 100%. But the growth is organic.
That's awesome, dude. Like, I mean, you know, you built something yourself. I wouldn't even say that like, I mean, if you think percentage wise, you know, if you take the 10K and just add it like onto your 330 right now, like, you know, I mean, I don't think that, was it TGN? I don't think they might
Right
have.
now, it's insignificant. It was a nice boost at the time.
Sure.
But right now, yeah, it feels insignificant for sure. I think it's also like growth on YouTube can be exponential. It's not always exponential, but like it's much harder to get that first 5,000 subs than it is to grow from 10K to 20K.
Okay, fair,
You know?
fair, yeah. I mean, I'm an idiot in terms of that sort of world and that sort of stuff, but I mean, I suppose it makes sense. It's kind of, it's harder to get your first gig in commentary than it is to get your 10th gig in commentary. That's kind of how I'm relating it in my head. Back to my monkey brain that can do one thing, like, you know. Commentate. Yes, I got it. I'm following. It's a strange world though, right? Like, so I mean, I'm obviously from the surface level looking in. I have a couple of YouTubers that I always kind of watch, and those are the guys that like keep me informed.
You're not one of them.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. As far as anime games go, I am completely out of the loop.
It's not your interest topic. That's fine.
Like, but as far as the sort of YouTube sphere, people have these like points of contact within YouTube that help out kind of big channels and that sort of stuff. But as far as like the kind of smaller channels for like update changes and stuff, like I remember it was Moist Critical or Penguin Zero was talking about the change to like if you swear within the first 30 seconds of your video, it gets age restricted and stuff. And he's got a single person, like his kind of channel manager at YouTube, and he was like, I had to read through like, you know, 3 PDFs just to find out this information. Like, you know, is it kind of weird and very difficult? Is it a lot of reading behind the scenes in terms of being a YouTuber?
No, we just take the news from Twitter the same way you do.
Okay, all right.
Or we mess up and we learn from it. Like,
right.
That's not worth our time. It really isn't. Like, it's better for us to mess up a video and like just call the video dead than to spend all of our lives reading through every terms of service change that YouTube does. But to your point on the YouTube manager side of things, I recently got mine. Okay. And I got mine at a very interesting time because I was considering leaving Twitch.
Okay.
And I was considering starting to do YouTube streaming full time. And I had done a couple of tests, and there was this rumor, which wasn't just a rumor. Back on TGN Anime, I was live streaming on YouTube and uploading videos. And the back-end team was saying, everything is getting nerfed because your live streams are recommending other live streams, and your videos are recommending other videos. So half of your content is never recommended. The videos are nerfing the streams are nerfing the videos.
Okay.
That was a big problem with YouTube streaming. But since then, YouTube started doing some big hires, like spending millions and investing in live streaming a lot. But surely that went away. And we've seen a lot of cases where that nerf just isn't visible at all. So I thought, okay, let's try it out once again. And I've documented this whole process on Twitter if anyone wants to see it. But every time I streamed, my next video tanked super hard, like historically low views.
Really?
Yes. So the nerf is happening. And my theory is, and this is after like months of analysis, my theory is it's not about YouTube nerfing your videos in the algorithm. It's about what type of audience you have. So the YouTube algorithm, this is a big misconception everyone has about the algorithm. It's not looking at channels. It does not give a fuck what your channel is. It is looking at the audience. If the audience is watching one type of content, YouTube will suggest that type of content again. So it doesn't matter if it comes from a million sub channel or if it comes from a 10 sub channel. That type of content, that topic, if that viewer likes it, YouTube will suggest it.
Right.
That said, if it's a channel with a lot of subs, a lot of people are probably going to watch that video in the first hours. So YouTube's going to push that video, right? Because or people seem interested in that. But it's always looking at the audience and not looking at the channel itself. So what I think is happening is people on my channel are used to essays. They're used to digested information. They're used to very fast videos that when I go live, they're not interested. It's not a personality channel. It's not a channel that people watch because it's me presenting the information. It's a channel they watch because it's information. Right? And that's a tendency I have to try and sort of like get rid of because longevity wise, that's a bad strategy for me. Because if the information dries out, where does that leave me? You know?
Sure.
So I have to get them interested in the personality somehow.
Commentary.
But to me, yeah, well, commentary. There you go. That's part of it. I look at Sagem, and you can't deny what that man has done with just commentary, right? He's built a personality over on Twitch, and that all started on commentary. He has this genius idea, this genius format, which is Will It Kill, that kind of blew up his Twitch channel. But it's not just that. Like, man is doing everything right in terms of content too. I mean, I wouldn't upload full VODs to the YouTube channel, but he's doing like the story time stuff is genius. It's like he just tells a story on stream, story gets edited, gets put on YouTube, and he's got incredible storytelling skills. So people just want to watch the personality tell the story.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, a part of why I got into commentary is because I'm looking for that other avenue to gain more fandom.
Absolutely.
100%.
I mean, this is why I started a podcast. I mean, commentary is great. I tried live streaming. I didn't like playing video games as a job. That I remember like sitting after work one time. I was working in a hotel. I finished at like 4 and I had to stream at 6, and I remember just like sitting in like my stream chair just being like, fuck this, I do not want to go live, and then turning on my camera.
Stream?
What?
Had to stream?
Yeah, like I had a whole timetable on when I was going to stream and that sort of stuff, and
self-imposed though.
Yeah, of course, but like if I stuck to that, I could see kind of consistent growth, be it 1 or 2 viewers per stream and that sort of stuff, and that it just burnt me out, man. I couldn't play any more Tekken ranked, and when I tried to switch to a different game, it just tanked. Like I wanted to do like a Dark Souls type thing, like do the From Software series, like 2-3 viewers max, like so I was known as the Tekken guy. So I just said like this isn't for me. There are some absolutely fantastic Tekken streamers on Twitch, but that's not where I'm going to make my name.
I mean, you were self-imposing yourself. You were seeing that as a job, and it doesn't have to be.
Sure.
I mean, sure, it helps to be consistent and whatnot, but some streamers aren't, and they still find success. It's all up to like what type of personality and what expectations you build for your channel, in a way.
Right.
You can build the expectation that, well, this guy is going to go live once a month. That will be an event to behold.
Right.
No one will want to miss that.
Yeah.
So you could go down that route. It doesn't have to feel like a job per se. Streaming, especially, it doesn't have to feel like a job.
What, I know, directly after this podcast, you're just going to get a little notification. SamDDing went live on Twitch. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I mean, I suppose I never really thought about it. Where were you 5 years ago when I was like, I hate streaming, maybe I should quit Tekken, like,
I was on TGN Anime, probably.
Damn it. Should have followed some more anime games. Dude, I still remember playing Naruto, Shippuden Ultimate Storm 2?
Okay. Storm 2, okay.
With my, like, brother. And
right.
There have never been more fun as playing that game. And then you like hit the super that wins the game, and it just cuts to a flashback of like someone is just like, I'll remember this for my father. It's crazy stuff.
That is like a trademark from CyberConnect, that developer. Even Demon Slayer has it.
Really?
If your super kills the character, they will do a flashback cutscene.
That's the best. It filled us with so much joy because I never watched Naruto. So all of these flashback things,
even more random.
But it meant absolutely nothing to me. There was just a bald man standing over a child being like, "You must become stronger," and he was like, "Father, I'll never become stronger." And then like to him with his fist on fire, like punching like a small little gnome creature, and I'm like, "What just happened there?" Like, it's great. I love the world. As far as anime goes, though, I never really. I mean, look, Attack on Titan is insane. That's probably one of my favorite TV shows, not just anime and that sort of stuff. But I was never really into Dragon Ball. I went Pokemon instead of Dragon Ball when I was in like that age range.
Wasn't the choice.
Yeah.
You didn't have to choose. You could watch both. Never.
I think in Ireland we had 3 TV channels when I was growing up. There was.
Oh wait, were they on at the same time?
I don't even think that Dragon Ball was on. I'll be honest.
Oh.
Like, you know, because we had. I remember it was like, was it Pokemon was on at like 7 p.m. right after Simpsons at 6 p.m. And that was just, you were just kind of, or maybe it was before. I can't even remember. But like, there wasn't.
Moment of silence.
Nice, dude. That's so satisfying. That should be a sub alert.
good.
Let's go. Yeah, I never had the opportunity to kind of get into Dragon Ball, and I feel like if I was into Dragon Ball, that, you know, that would have opened the kind of gates into anime and stuff.
I heard you mention wrestling.
Yes.
I think Dunk's podcast. You a fan of wrestling?
I mean, as far as I loved the Hardy Boys when I was a teenager and stuff, and used to play all the old WWF games back when it was the World Wildlife Federation.
Let me rephrase then. Are you a fan of like the wrestling storylines, the narrative that's built around it?
I am a fan of the wrestling commentators because I believe that they are the best commentators in the world.
Okay.
Like they put on a show that if you've never watched wrestling before, you get what's happening within like 10 seconds of watching. At any point, you can just turn on wrestling and like something comes up about like this character and that character 4 years ago or whatever. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how big their production team is. I mean, I'm sure it's massive, but I don't know who's in their ear giving them that information. But they are by far.
I mean, they know which cards are coming up. They probably study the matchup, right?
Sure.
Ahead of time.
I mean,
they don't have like a double elimination tournament where like any matchup could happen. They know exactly who's going to fight.
Sure.
They know exactly what the twists are going to be.
But
so they can prepare for that. But it's still very impressive, 100%. I think we could have something similar. And C4 recently started doing something on his events. I don't know if you've caught it yet.
Is it the Bruce Buffer thing? Because
no.
Okay.
I don't know. Fighting out of the red corner. But he has these player cards come up during his events. His player cards right now, they're very raw because a lot of the data just started being collected. But it's like win percentage, lose percentage, last matchup history, like when this player faced against this player, what were the results? And like starting to get that data is so useful that if we could get somehow like a shared FGC database for like all events and whatnot, we could just bring it up and like, oh, these guys have actually faced before and not that long ago.
Dude, I actually know the guy. I know the guy who made that app.
Let's go.
Yeah, he there was a thing I saw recently. I did the World Tour Finals for Tekken, and he just put up a Twitter thread from his. It's Pun Life. Shout outs to Pun Life, man. Great commentator and computer scientist, I assume. Like, I mean, the dude is like a wizard with this sort of stuff. But like, he has a program that just scrapes like, not challenge, what's it called? Smash DG, just for like information, but has those win-loss records and stuff. Now, as far as I'm aware, it's only Tekken and stuff, but like was able to tell me that there was like, what was it, 35,000 individual sets of Tekken have been played across the World Tour, over 600 events.
I'm pretty sure C4 is pulling that from Challenge.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
I must, after this, I'm gonna have to.
Might be a different tool. But that's impressive regardless.
Yeah.
Like if we could get like a shared database for but that's so niche, right? That's like,
Sure.
us commentators would love to have a tool like this. Please develop and spend millions on it. So just we are a little bit more comfortable when commentating.
Dude, having those cheat sheets there is so much fun. Like, I mean, because, you know, I was commentating with a guy over the weekend who had a notebook. And back in his hotel, he would like see like, okay, players to watch throughout whatever the thing, like find them, then look up their history or whatever, write down notes of like, do you know, just stuff that he noticed, like, okay, so this guy has actually lost to the last 3 players playing this character, really interesting. Maybe it's an unfamiliarity in that matchup or whatever. But had like notes and notes and notes written out, and like this might just get rid of that. Like we might just have a search function for commentators that, you know, this player playing this character, and it's like, okay, yeah, he's got a 14.8% win rate against this character. Like, you know, I mean, make it a little bit more WWE, like, you know.
Yeah, we could. The thing is, WWE is a very centralized thing, where it's okay. Every fight that happens in WWE happens in WWE, and fighting game tournaments happen in so many different events. It's hard to compile all the info.
Sure, fair.
So that's maybe the biggest obstacle I can see there. But at that end, just the manpower to crunch the stats to input the data.
Yeah, I don't know. Can you code a scraper for Challenge or Smash GG? I presume that's how.
Probably.
Yeah,
probably can. Yeah, I
don't
can see
know.
it. You still have to feed the algorithm the events. You still have to go, okay, there's this event here, there's this event here.
Yeah, God, there've been over 600 events for the.
And then if you do it automatically, just like let's say Sonic Fox loses their passwords to Smash GG and make a new user, like the whole thing is ruined.
I never thought about that. Yeah. Yeah, Sonic Fox and Sonic Fox 2 have never played against each other.
No, never. They've never been in the same room anymore. It's crazy.
Oh man, that's I never thought about that, man. So what are your plans for commentary? Are you going down the sort of commentator route? Are you looking for majors and stuff, or?
I don't know what the commentator route is, I'll be honest. I'm happy to have made it to Wanted so far. I'm now starting to do Guilty Gear Strive commentary too.
Nice.
Just to break out of Dragon Ball FighterZ, because Dragon Ball FighterZ is a dying game.
Damn.
And I want to try other stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's just the reality of it. The finals are coming up soon. The finals might have happened already when this episode comes out. Not sure. But the finals are coming up soon. Rollback should be announced maybe at some point, but I don't know if there will be another world tour. So from Bandai, I think this is it. From Bandai official tournament. Dragon Ball will probably still be in major tournaments throughout the year, especially if Rollback is announced. The hype comes back for a little bit until it's time for the next big tag game.
Right.
That said, I think once Street Fighter comes out, a lot of players are just going to move on. Street Fighter seems like the big unifier right now.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a fighting game that everyone is playing in a very long time. Maybe since Street Fighter 4.
Yeah.
I think like everyone has their main game. Not everyone's main game is going to be Street Fighter 6, but everyone's going to be playing Street Fighter 6.
Yeah. They're doing so good with the marketing on that. And
the game.
I mean, yeah, like the betas.
Marketing is easier when the product is good, you know.
Sure, absolutely. But like, I mean, if you think that the Royal Rumble thing with the cosplayer and stuff, like, you know, but then like everything you see about Street Fighter 6 is just super positive. Like I think it was in the Dunk episode that we were talking about. The worst complaint that people have is the music. Oh no, it was the Rukang episode. The biggest complaint about Street Fighter 6 is the music, the soundtrack, which is
a hot take for me, honestly.
Really?
Like, I think the soundtrack is totally fine.
I mean, look, I don't know. I mean, people are talking about like lore and like the way. I think what Rukang said was like that. It was Ryu's music. He's like supposed to be all like calm and zen and sort of the warrior monk, and yet his music is like rock.
Shut up.
Yeah. But like, if that is the biggest complaint coming out of your game after 2 betas and like all of this sort of stuff, I think they're doing a great job, dude. Like, they're doing an insanely good job.
I have a few streaming playlists. Not playlists. I have buttons that I hit depending on mood.
Oh.
So I can look at my buttons right now. It says uplifting, beats, goofy, chill, fight, tension, epic, and sad. So I have buttons that I hit based on mood that play a random song within that folder.
Man.
And on my fight folder that I use for like tournaments that are organized and whatnot. Like whenever I feel like I'm tired of this soundtrack, I just turn off the music in the game and I hit the fights every time a battle begins. Then I also have a match win button, but for like victory sounds like Final Fantasy. Ta 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 ta. You know, you're
Yeah,
playing
yeah,
Demon
yeah.
Slayer, someone wins. Ta 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 da da da. It's fun. It's fun. Um, but in my fight playlist, I have the Ryu song. I
Damn.
put it in there.
Let's
And I
go.
like that song a lot. I think it fits with a lot of different games too. I think it's a fantastic song.
I mean, look, they're with the amount of money Capcom are bringing to this like
Capcom and Jerry.
Capcom. Ah, let's go, Capcom. But the amount of money they're bringing, they're not about to slack off on any side of this. Like, do you know? I mean, even when they brought out the cabinets to the like events and stuff, I think it was VSF that I saw the hard case that these the boards that go into the cabinets come from, and the boards have an engraved thing on them that says Capcom Street Fighter 5, and I was like, yep,
Alrighty.
that's fair.
Okay.
Like, you know,
Oh, Street Fighter 5.
or Street Fighter 6, sorry, Street Fighter 6.
Oh, okay. Yeah, already for that. Okay.
Yeah, like,
Because that was early. That was super early.
yeah,
So
but I mean,
VSF might have been the first time that game was playable outside of E3.
outside of
like,
Evo,
actually,
because I
for the-
remember Evo, there was
Yeah, right.
there was a couple of the things, and then VSF. But yeah, I remember seeing like the engraved like hard shell like flight boxes and stuff, and I was like, they're like gearing up to make this one of the biggest games, like, you know.
Now, how do you break into Street Fighter commentary?
If I was to break into Street Fighter commentary right now, I would definitely. Ooh, what would I do?
Do you even start with 5? Do you even start there?
Yeah. I mean, so as
At
somebody,
this point, like right now, would you just start with 5?
I think if I like, so that was initially the plan. Like, so, my buddy, shout out to Rich the Dragon, became community manager and esports manager for Capcom for Street Fighter, and so we had a long talk about, like, you know, sit down, learn the game, like, let's learn it, like, you know, as a commentator and stuff, and like sit and see what we can do and stuff, because I think Rich, more than a lot of people in the industry, kind of, when I was barely starting out, he was like, no, this guy's good, like, we need to get him on more and more shows and stuff, and keep bringing him back and that sort of stuff. So I think he wants me involved with his product. So I mean, I say we, that was the kind of conversation. He was like, yo, learn Street Fighter, like, you know, and I was like, yeah, I'll see. I feel like, because Street Fighter is the original, it's like the older brother of Tekken, that if I get Imposter Syndrome in Tekken, which I do, I feel like Street Fighter, I would never feel comfortable. Like, you know, that game's been around for, like, I don't know, what is it, like 150 years or something, man? They've been playing that since, like, you know, since it was like wooden pieces and you had to burn a turf fire underneath your Game Boy or something. I don't even know, man. Like, that shit just feels like legacy. And I feel like it.
Two questions. One, what is learning Street Fighter as a commentator? And two, does that imposter syndrome come from not actually learning the game, but just learning it as a commentator? Like, is there a big difference there?
Interesting.
And that's why you don't feel as confident.
So I suppose I'll answer the first question, which is what is learning a game as a commentator. So, because I did this with Rocket League, I commentated Rocket League for a season. I learned that game exclusively. So I had played it casually, like, for a year maybe or something, and then.
Yeah. But neither of us can flip reset. Yeah.
Sure, of course. Like, you know, but I learned the term flip reset. I learned, you know, what a musty flick was, and, like, you know, like, what a breezy, what's the difference between a breezy and a musty, like, you know, and backboard, like, you know, all of these sort of, like, terminologies. But I remember as I was playing that game, I would be, or like even watching content on it, I'd be very, very conscious of the terminology used and what was actually hype in the brains of somebody who's not sitting on the average, like, you know, like they're above the average player. Like, why would they, oh, did you just see that, how did he know that, sort of shit? And I would, like, immediately take, no, did I just see that? No, I didn't. Why is that cool? Like, you know, rewind the tape back and be like, oh, right, okay, so that's why that's cool. That's really difficult to pull off or whatever. So if I was to sit down and do that with Street Fighter, obviously, look, I have people in the industry that could probably coach me through my first couple of months of Street Fighter commentary. But I don't know, man. This is then leads to your second question of, I get imposter syndrome in Tekken. I was never super good at the game, but I've always been a fan of it. So I approach commentary in Tekken from that point of view, that I could never do what you're doing, but that is fucking awesome. Is, you know, maybe my mantra or whatever. That sounds a bit too spiritual, without sounding like, you know, a bit shitty about it, like, you know. And I don't know, I feel like if I learned Street Fighter now just to be a commentator, that would just be ringing in the back of my head like a very large bell, just being like, you're shit, you shouldn't be here, you're only here for the money, like, you know. So I don't know if Street Fighter is where I'm
You're
gonna
right.
go.
So
Yeah. But multiverses, that's a different story, dude. That game is fun as fuck, dude.
Okay. So you got into it. Not as a commentator, though.
No, I'm playing that because it's fun. And now, and as soon as I told C4 that, C4 was like, yeah, bro, maybe we should make some tournaments together. I don't know what. That's the worst London accent I've ever done in my life. But yeah, so
C4 sounds like.
Yeah, that's
so, okay. Well, do you think you would feel that imposter syndrome on multiverses though? Because you actually learned that game and you played for fun, right? So there's some history between you and the game that you can bring into commentary.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, knowing my brain, I think there's always going to be an air of imposter syndrome. Just in the way I think about things, and, you know, the 4 a.m. thoughts or the shower thoughts, what people are calling them. I usually get this sort of just screaming voice in my head, just being like, you're kind of shit. And it's the constant battle to kind of, no, shut up, I'm doing cool things now. So it's probably going to happen if I do become a multiversus commentator, and I've got some shows lined up.
Really?
Nice. And yeah, I just plan to bring some excitement and some sort of hype to this game that it's hella fun to play, dude. Like, it's just, it's super fun. Like Batman kicking the shit out of Superman, or Arya Stark on the Iron Giant and stuff. Like, it's like stories are written right there, like, you know. But yeah, God, I mean, we're going deep into my psyche here now, but, like, I mean, imposter syndrome is something I've kind of struggled with as soon as there was an inkling of success. And do you know, like, once I started in a local online, or not local, but, like, do you know, an online tournament, and then as soon as I became the guy in that tournament, I started to think, like, well, that's fucking stupid, because that guy's really good and that guy's also really good. I shouldn't be here. People are about to find me out for somebody who's not a Tekken God Omega rank in the game. Like, you know, I don't actually understand why that was complex. I'm just going to say it's complex because I know it's complex. I don't understand it at a root level, and people are about to find me out, you know?
I mean, yeah. Well, you're saying something that you're not 100% sure about, then that's natural that you'd feel that way. But I think, like, the only reason why you do that, why you say something that you're not sure of, is because you feel that imposter syndrome to begin with, and you feel like you have something to prove. So you're gonna say something that, like, is not the average person's knowledge, so everyone's impressed with you.
That's really interesting. I mean,
that's my take on it right now. Just hearing it for the first time.
I think that's
what it sounded to me.
That's really interesting. And I mean, like, do you know what got me? So I did the Tekken World Tour Global Finals. It's been a life dream.
By the way, congrats on that. We haven't even spoken about that ever since.
I know.
But yeah, making it to the Tekken World Tour Finals, that was really awesome.
Literally a dream come true, right?
I
And
watched some of it. You were not in top 8 though, right?
no. So
okay. I watched most of top 8, but not all of it. But I did see you in pools with Steve.
yeah, dude,
Really fantastic job.
it was
really.
awesome. But
Cannot believe you brought up the marigolds again.
dude, God damn it, that
You brought it up.
I mean,
You brought up the marigolds.
to be fair, I learned from the first issue and didn't say it looks like she's about to go wash dishes. I just said it looks like she's wearing marigolds. That's what I said, and I left it.
It looks like she's wearing rubber gloves. And then Steve picked up on that. He was like, "Yeah, oh, it looks like the dish gloves or whatever. Yeah, the marigolds. Oh, all right.
Yep.
The marigolds are very good. Damn it, I cannot believe you brought it up again.
No, but dude, right, when I started commentary, I used to watch two of the guys, Spag and Bubsy, right? And like, I'm sitting as a nobody who had just bought the game, and I'm watching these boys commentate biggest shows in Europe. And I said, one day, man, I'm going to be up there sitting with those guys, right? Now, fast forward 7 years later, and I'm sitting with those exact guys, Spag and Bubsy, the European kings of tech and commentary. And Bubsy says that he gets imposter syndrome. And I was like, I don't believe that for one fucking second. I'm the newest guy on the team. Like, you know, out of, what did Markman call us? The Sinister Six, which is Markman, Rip, Tasty Steve, Spag, Bubsy, and me. That I am the newest guy in the door there. I'm like, if the OG Bubsy gets imposter syndrome, what sort of fucking shit do I don't have a leg to stand on in terms of the new guy.
I think that's a mentality thing. It has nothing to do with skill. It has nothing to do with how good you are at what you do or not. It's 100% a matter of mentality and skill. Because I think not skill at all. I'm contradicting myself. It's support, but it's 100% like a mentality thing. Because when I started making fighting game videos, I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. Like, I was watching Maximilian, obviously. I was watching True Underdog. I was watching a few other fighting game channels to see how they did like character breakdowns. And I was taking notes on what I did not like and wanted to change to make the breakdowns kind of my own. And a lot of that was notation stuff, like just take the notation shit out of here, like honestly, and like organize these videos a lot better, because at the end of this Maximilian video, I still have questions. And I want those questions answered by the time people watch my video. By the way, this is not a knock on Maximilian. Every creator goes through this. And this is why creators can always grow on these platforms. You have to care about the stuff that the big creators do not care about anymore. Because the big creators don't have to care about that stuff. They have more important stuff to care about at this point. Like, they will put out a video about a new character that came out for Tekken. And they will like just maybe make a reaction and like a first impression and look at that move. That move is sick. All right, cool. 1 million views. It's fine. The smaller creator is going to have to go in depth and pick up on the stuff that they missed. But it's not worth it for the bigger creator to go into that little stuff, because they're already working on the next thing. Like, it's not worth it. But this is why like smaller creators can always find a place to grow. And I find that ecosystem kind of fascinating. Anyway, I also felt like a total imposter when I started making like character breakdowns for a fighting game that wasn't even out. I had never played like Marvel or a tag game for that matter. And here I am covering Dragon Ball FighterZ before I even put my hands on it, you know? Of course, like, imposter syndrome kicks in, but if you do it from a place where you're humble enough to take on the feedback, and you have to be able to distinguish what is feedback and what is hate, because the internet is the internet. If you're going at it just from a position that I'm doing the best I possibly can at this moment and at all times, you have nothing to feel bad about, you know? Sure. Like, I think you've done, and I cannot really speak to like how good of a commentator you are, because I haven't been following you for that long. I've known you since UFA. That's it. Because I met you in person, mostly because I don't follow the Tekken scene.
Understandable.
But one of the first things that C4 told me to do, because I also met C4 at UFA, and I asked him, hey, will be my commentary mentor? Will you tell me where to start, what events to commentate? And he said, sure. I messaged him on Discord and I said, I'm ready to start. Where do I begin? And he said, honestly, research. Like, I want you to watch commentary from other people. preferably games you are not familiar with. So you don't focus on the gameplay so much, you just focus on the commentary. And I want you to pick up on the things you like and the things you don't like, so you can bring that into your own style and figure out what you want to bring to this space. And I immediately went to UFA, Tekken, to try to find the Marigolds moment.
Okay.
I was not able to find the Marigolds moment.
Thank God. Thank God.
I assume you commentated with a lot of different commentators in UFA.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay, so if I say one of the VODs that I watched, I really did not like your co-commentator, I'm not singling anyone out.
No,
right?
no.
Okay, so I clicked on one of your periods, one of your boxes, and I started watching that, and I'm like, I really like what Sam is doing here. Sam picked up on this Akuma moment where someone spent meter, and Sam said something like, and the thing about him spending meter right there is that now he no longer has it for the next round and whatnot. And what Sam did in that one sentence was, one, make me notice, a beginner, a Tekken, that Kuma has meter. Just made me notice that it has meter. And it told me how much that is going to impact the rest of the match. So instead of that single comment is beginner friendly because it explains a mechanic. And it is advanced player friendly because it tells them how that is going to impact the rest of the match. And like, this is a genius sentence that Sam just did here.
Damn.
What I don't like is that Sam is trying to hold a conversation, and the other commentator is commentating solo. Like, he's not picking up on anything, and that kind of resonated with me. And going back to the start of this podcast, where you ask what's the biggest difference between like being a content creator and being a commentator, is that you're not alone. Think streamer, like as a streamer, you're super focused, and maybe, look, I don't want to dare you to do this, but if you analyze this podcast and the other 4 episodes that you've done, look at how much your guests talked in comparison to me. I bet my ratio is all the way up there, man. I bet I'm monopolizing this conversation a lot more than the others, because that is the content creator in me, like I cannot have silence.
I think that is something that, and like, that's a weird skill that I never thought that podcasting was a skill, or like hosting a podcast, until I was talking to my brother about it. And I sent him the kind of VODs. He's in the Tekken scene or whatever, and he likes to listen to this sort of stuff. So and he kept saying, like, dude, just shut up, you're not commentating. Like, to like, let the purpose of having a guest on is to explain to me their side of what I already know, like, or explain me concepts that I don't understand and stuff. So I need to learn to shut up. So that is absolutely perfect. And I think every time I catch myself talking too much, I'm like, all right, fuck it, shit.
At the same time, it's the Sam podcast, you may have a guest every week, but the reason why people keep coming back to it is because you're the host.
I think, like, I don't know, this is definitely just coming from my own brain, but I like to think that people come because I can process large chunks of information into small bite-sized pieces. But that's
these episodes are 2 hours long. What do you mean?
Yeah, but I mean, you can put a podcast on in the background as you're cleaning the kitchen. Shout out to everybody cleaning their kitchen right now, or at the gym, or on a walk. Like, I mean,
gym crew.
But like, I keep feeling my strengths in every vibe that I go down, or every path or whatever, is that there's a huge amount of information. I wrap it up in some crude wrapping paper and just send it out as like, that was an uppercut, or YouTube sounds shit, like just taking these huge chunks and whittling it down into all of the shitty bits, like, gone out.
I think that's the secret behind the success of Fuzzy Guard.
Damn, we'll see. It mightn't be successful yet. We'll have to check.
What is success for you?
Oh, rent. Paying the rent.
With Fuzzy Guard specifically, you want Fuzzy Guard to pay the rent?
So, commentary has been good to me. I've been making a bit of money. Okay. But I live in Dublin, and for anybody who knows about Dublin rent prices, Dublin rent is quite high. So commentary is great, but we still have to find adjacent streams of revenue in.
I saw a news piece that it seems like Dublin is starting to have some very good looking homeless people. Right, some actually wealthy homeless people who cannot afford rent.
Yeah, it has become a little bit silly now, and I always, since I've been a kid and I was involved with like music or acting or whatever, my only goal was to be able to pay my rent. Like, so that I didn't have to wake up at 9 a.m. and put on a suit, you know, like that I could just do the shit that I wanted to do, like this podcast or like commentary or, you know, like streaming, I suppose, back in those days. But the same with acting, the same with music and that sort of stuff.
Your heart's not on streaming. Just let it go.
I'm just gonna let that die. I'm gonna bring it out to the back of the shed and just old yeller. Sorry, bro.
Your heart's not there.
But you know, like I think creative pursuits and stuff, and it's weird because my dad is super creative and my mom is super like work heavy, like, you know, so I got the kind of blend of those sort of stuff that I want to do shit creative, but I also need to work at this, like, you know, so it puts me in this perfect kind of situation that, oh, I'm going to try be an actor, but I'm going to work for 18 hours a day to make sure that happens, like, you know. You know, I suppose it's probably the same for any kind of people who are successful or semi-successful in this industry, that you have to have these weird aspirations and dreams, but you also have to have the kind of work to back it up, you know, because I mean, I'm sure, do you get DMs about people asking, oh, how do I become a YouTuber? Like, you know, you're just like,
not really.
No? Shit, dude, man.
I think the information is out there. It's very available.
Right.
You just put it on Google and you find people that are much bigger than me giving you much better advice.
But I don't imagine.
But I think you're at like near the top of the chain there, and that's why you get those messages about being a commentator. I'm not anywhere near the top of being like the best YouTuber or the biggest YouTuber.
Okay. Like, I mean, yeah, I suppose the tech sphere is kind of smaller, but like it's funny, and I've had this conversation with so many people because everybody wants the idea of being a commentator, that you get to be flown out to events and you don't have to play. It's all kind
fucking you guys
stress free and shit, like, you know. Yeah, it sounds fucking great when you look at it on the surface, but you know,
taking our jobs
and our women and our money. But
wait.
But do you know, like,
do I need to break up to become a commentator? Is that what you're telling me? What's on the other side, Sam?
Well, I tell you,
told me you have a beautiful wife.
It's a shit ton of work. It's a lot of panic. It's a lot of, you know, stress. It's a lot of, you know, there's so many hours, and I can guarantee you it's the same with YouTubing.
You didn't look very stressed drinking champagne at UFA, I'll tell you that.
Do you know why? Because that's when all the pressure is relieved. How do you think I got UFA? It was the 3 years work previous to develop my name, find out who the production company was, getting good with any of those guys, put my name forward, take my name back because I'm not good enough, work on another show, then throw my name out from this show here, like, or whatever. Found out that this guy's running the show, no problem, man, he's my buddy right now, like, or whatever. Then I just happened to get a message. Hey, I'm just wondering, is there any chance that you'd be available to do this show? Fuck yes, I will. As soon as I get off that plane, I know I can commentate. That's not a worry for me. I have fucked up so much in the past that it has scarred me into where I have now. It's the other shit that people don't see at all. It's the fucking networking. It's the vocal warm-ups. Like, you know, nobody, dude, I was like backstage at the World Tour Finals, right? And I was just doing my warm-ups. Now, to be fair, I scream a lot. So my warm-ups, I have to kind of open up everything so that I can scream, right? So they can get a bit loud, right? But there's huge big stage, and then there's like a whole like dark area around the back. And I'm just there and I'm doing my warm-ups or whatever. But I had 2 people from production come up to me with flashlights on. They were like, is everything okay back here? And I'm like, I'm all access. I'm a commentator. I'm just doing my warm-ups. And they were like, oh, we're so sorry. We thought you were a crazy person or whatever, screaming backstage and that sort of shit.
Oh
And
no, that too. But I'm also a commentator.
but like, that's the shit that people don't see, like, you know. And like, talking to commentators, it's very easy to explain this concept, like that.
I've never done warm-ups.
I would absolutely recommend it. Hit up YouTube.
You are right. You are right. I should maybe do it.
Check out vocal
I've never even
warm-ups,
considered it.
15 minutes, like even just breathing and pronunciation warm-ups, like running your tongue around your lip, and then I come out and I don't have to go, I mean, sorry, what I actually meant to say was, you know, like, shit just comes out a little bit nicer. The same with like doing that oh no shit, oh I can't believe that, to do that like without warm-ups, it's like walking into the gym and just being like 150k, I'll bench that shit, like, you know, like it's stupid. Like in
right,
if you go to any gym guys, any of the fucking huge dudes, like they're like, no. You start small, like work your way up. Even if you're one of those big guys, you warm up first. Like, you know, this is a muscle that we all need to look after and stuff, you know. Don't be smoking them Cubanos, man, the big cigars and stuff before you go up on stage, man. Because you're going to get absolutely broke up. Like, and I only know this from absolutely fucking up and having my boss have to take a microphone off me at a show one time and be like, sit out, you're done now for the day. And like,
what is that story? Like, what happened?
it was EGX. It's a European Games Expo in London.
Yep.
Big show. I mean, I met the guys, I met Team 17. I met, like, you know, Republic of Gamers. I met
Worms guys.
You know, yeah, of course. I actually said that. So
Pause.
nice. It's so satisfying, dude. But as soon as you know, because so UK had left the EU, so my flight from Dublin to London cost me €40 or something return. Ridiculous money, right? But I also get cheap cigarettes because they're, you know, outside of the EU. So immediately I just bought 200 cigarettes, threw them in my bag, easy, like €20, €30, whatever, right? As soon as I got off the plane, I am smoking. I'm on holiday, like I'm in holiday mode. I'm drinking whiskey, I'm smoking this sort of stuff. It's easy. It's a hosting gig. It's not complex, like, and we have a nice hotel right beside the venue. And so I didn't realize that smoking cigarettes affects your voice. I know, right? It sounds stupid, but so it's a 4-day event, which was something that I wasn't prepared for. That I'm used to 2-day. So first day go easy, second day blow your shit out, right? Whereas this one you have to pace yourself all the way up to the 4th day. I also didn't realize this. I was young at the time, like, you know, so I'm smoking stupid amounts, 20, 30 cigarettes a day. Every minute I had free, I'm going down because they're so cheap. They don't hold value to me. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Another cigarette, another one, drinking whiskey, having the crack and stuff, like. And my voice was getting worse and worse, but I suppose my narcissism kind of covered that as, no, you're fine. Don't worry about it, man. Of course you can scream, no problem. To the point when on the 3rd day, I had was it the 2nd block or the 3rd block? I can't remember on this. So the first block was Street Fighter, Guilty Gear, and then Tekken, or whatever the order was. But I remember the Street Fighter guy looked at me. It was Jammers, one of the kind of big boys in Street Fighter. He was like, so coming up next we've got SamDDing. SamDDing, how do you feel? And he put the microphone to me and I just went, let's go! And it just sounded like
it was cracking.
Yeah, like there was air just letting out of a balloon a little bit, like, and I went backstage and I shotgunned 2 fucking honey and lemon and manuka honey tea, like, you know. And I walked out on stage. I grabbed the mic. My boss is asking me, he was like, can you do this? And I was like, fuck yeah, I can do this. Of course I can. This is my shit, like, you know. Walked out and I went, ladies and gentlemen, let's go, or whatever. And he literally looked at me and just grabbed the mic. He went, sit this one out, bro. And my fucking heart. I went backstage and I sat down and I rang my girlfriend. I was like, yeah, this shit ain't for me, man. This shit ain't for me. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. Like, you know, like that's it. I'm washed up now. Like, you know. But
yeah, that's rough.
that
Yeah, you had no idea. I had no idea either. I don't say this publicly very often that I'm a smoker because I'm not proud of it. I think it's really dumb, and I got hooked when I was pretty young, and I haven't been able to quit, even though I made several attempts throughout my life, all like through sheer willpower, like trying to quit, and it makes me miserable. But I didn't know that there was a time where, I mean, I've told you that I'm a drummer. I had a band where I also sang. So like I was playing drums and singing at the same time. I wouldn't say I'm a singer.
It's a hard
but
gig.
I also sang. Yeah. So because I had that band, I know that there were certain notes that I could hit because I've hit them before and I have them recorded. There are recordings of me hitting these notes. And around the age of like 26, 27, I stopped being able to hit those notes.
Damn.
And I didn't know it was cigarettes until like very recently. And I mean, like last week or so, I was able to hit those notes again because I quit smoking.
Damn. You did.
Yeah,
you could it, yeah.
I got an app right here showing you.
Oh, let's
I'm
go.
going on 13 days.
Let's go, dude.
And I actually think like the hardest bit is behind me now. Like I have.
Yeah.
When I have like withdrawal pangs right now, they're super weak. After like the 5th day, they started to sort of wane down to the point where I feel like it's very easy to resist them now.
Sweet.
Yeah. The willpower method is not it. I will say that. but there are other methods out there.
What you been doing?
If you ever want to quit, talk to me.
You been vaping or you been?
No substitutions.
No,
nothing. No,
right.
Last
okay.
cigarettes, put it out, done.
Damn, let's go, dude.
Yeah. There's a whole deconstruction you have to do before that. There's a whole like undoing of myths that you need the cigarette to help you with stress. You need the cigarette to relax you. You need the cigarette to do this and that and what else. If you are not able to clear beyond any reason of a doubt that there is nothing positive about a cigarette, you will not be able to withhold. You will not be able to quit. Because once you quit, your brain is very good at tricking you into thinking that you need a cigarette. So you need to not have any doubt that a cigarette is nothing but negative for you. Like it will do nothing for you.
Right.
If I tell you right now that you cannot smoke, like that you've smoked your last cigarette, and you actually believe me, Sam, is there an anxiety building up inside of you?
Yeah, I just feel like I want a cigarette right now, man.
Yeah, you want a cigarette right now. Why do you want a cigarette right now?
I don't know. I suppose we've been talking about it, and it's an addiction in
That's
my brain, like, you know.
That's all it takes. Yeah, that's all it takes. But there are all these different situations that make you pull the cigarette, and you need to deconstruct them all, like every single one of them, before you even quit. While in the process of quitting, and like you're not going to reduce the number of cigarettes or anything like that. You just need to deconstruct them while you're smoking. And if you deconstruct them all successfully, when you put out your last cigarette, you'll have the willpower to survive those first 5 days, but not even survive them because you won't even think of it as like some sacrifice. You won't think of it as like something you're giving up. You're just thinking of it as becoming a non-smoker, which is a much more positive way of thinking.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah,
like you're not depriving yourself of something good because there's nothing positive about it.
You're not taking something away. You're stepping into a new thing. That's a really, really cool way of looking at it.
A new, better thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the chip has to change in your brain. Like you have to be able to make that change before you quit, because otherwise it's just a willpower method, and you will always feel like you're giving up on something. And it doesn't matter if you make it through the 5 days, the 3 weeks, the 6 years. You will always be craving a cigarette.
Right. Okay. And to become comfortable in that thought that you will crave them.
No, because at some point you stop craving them. The thing is, if you see them as something positive that has helped you in the past in any sort of capacity, you will always crave them at some point, and that is even sadder than being a smoker. Like being a non-smoker that's constantly craving a cigarette will make you miserable. It is the changing of the myth, the rationalizing that the cigarette has been there for you in moments that you needed it, but it wasn't the actual cigarette that helped you. It was taking a break. It was taking a step back. It was thinking about things. You know, the cigarette was just there to cause you harm. That's the only thing it did. If you are able to accept that and rationalize that in a way, it's not even just I tell you these things and you believe them. It's like you have to tell yourself these things and believe them yourself. Then you will come to a point where you won't crave them anymore. There are withdrawal pangs because you are a nicotine addict, 100%. But more than that, there's a psychological addiction. And that psychological addiction slowly goes away if you learn to almost enjoy the withdrawal pangs.
Dang.
What are you feeling right now? What are you feeling right now? Like, I want a cigarette, that feeling that you're having because we're talking about it. That if you can turn that feeling into something pleasant, because that is the beast, the nicotine beast inside of you dying. That is what it is. And if you make the decision to not smoke anymore, you start to feel joy from feeling that. And there are like, that feeling will last you for 5 minutes. It will not last you for more than that. But it becomes so intense that you just light it up. Especially if you just have a cigarette laying around.
I mean, dude,
like it is so
just
easy, right?
for those that don't know about the little behind the scenes stuff, you should see what I see right now. I've got like a bottle of rum, a bottle of whiskey, cigarettes, like selection of glass. Dude, I have a cocktail shaker here. Look at my little cocktail spoon, just for making some cocktails here and stuff.
One of the worst things that I really hated about it was like having a meal and feeling like the meal is not complete until I have a cigarette.
Aye, that is there. I'll be honest with you, there is no better feeling than being like just going out for a dinner or having dinner at home or whatever. You're full and then having just a lovely cigarette after that.
Yes, but it is a much better feeling to be able to enjoy the food without thinking that it's not over until a cigarette is there. Because what I started to feel was like during the meal, I was thinking, I want to be done with this so I can smoke. You know?
Okay, yeah.
If you don't have that need, then you can enjoy the meal a lot more.
Sure, I heard when you quit smoking, your taste buds kind of come back as well and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, they do. So yeah, with the voice stuff, like I was able to hit that note like 3 days ago.
No way.
Yeah,
you went straight back. It was just a reversion, like, you know.
Yeah.
Wow.
It just went back. Like my voice is slowly coming back. Cool thing about the app is that it tells you all these different benefits. The voice stuff is not one of them, but it goes like, oh, you can breathe better. I'm like, right? You can taste better now. Stuff like that.
Damn.
The voice stuff was a cool side effect that I'm like, oh, I had no idea that was the smoking that made me not be able to hit those notes anymore. It's crazy.
Yeah, I suppose it is funny. I don't know, man. I mean, I hate to shit on anyone's parade or whatever, but like, you know, I feel like my voice is in a good space. I mean, I do have to look after it a lot and stuff, but I feel like because I look after it so much, the smoking, do you know what, now that I say it out loud, it sounds delusional. Just as soon as I had that thought in my head, I was like, no, "You're an idiot." What I was going to say is because I look after it so much that maybe the smoking doesn't. Do you know, like,
dude, that is exactly what smokers do. That is 100%, and myself included. That is exactly what smokers do. We will come up with every single possible excuse for smoking, and there is nothing good that comes from it.
Totally.
But that's what the nicotine addiction does. Is like it creates all these different reasons for why you should smoke.
Damn, this is. I'll be honest. I did not expect this evening to go this way.
If you ever feel motivated to quit smoking, you can talk to me, Sam. Not everyone listening to the podcast, because I'm not. That's not my job. But Sam, we're friends. If you ever want to quit,
you must send me the link to that app,
I can
bro.
show you the way.
Yeah.
It's not just the app. Well, first, you need to deconstruct a lot of stuff.
Sure.
But the app does help.
Yeah. Right. I think I might take a quick break, 5 minutes, to have a cigarette and stuff.
God damn it. Sorry for bringing up smoking.
Not at all. Not at all. I think.
Made you really want to take a break, huh?
I think it was the C4 episode.
You went like pause. Holy shit.
To be fair, I consume a lot of alcohol, and this is definitely get edited out, but I just because I drink so much, I tend to piss quite a lot. So like I think it was the episode that we were cutting out. It's not getting released because this guy went like off on fucking, so he's used to being like getting paid lots of money just to be like, now talk, keep talking. So like I'm literally like okay, totally 100. So I'm no, I get that point. So we're just going to take a swift break. I drank, I think it was about 4 liters of beer that night. You see, because we want to make it attractive to sponsors, controversial topics tend not to. But like, so I
don't worry about that. Don't even worry. You have 100 views on your podcast. Don't even just worry about growth right now. You're not going to sell to sponsors.
I mean, you see, the thing is in the FGC, I know a lot of people that are, I could DM 2 people right now that I could talk to about getting sponsorships, like,
yeah, but like the value of a sponsorship in this kind of exposure, it's not even worth the trouble.
I mean, yes, but I would also love to pay my editor, dude. Drift, shout outs to Drift. I don't know what's getting edited in or what's getting edited out.
100%, but the road to get there is exposure first. It's growth. It's first growth and then sponsors.
Right. That is interesting.
Which brings us back to like the question I asked a while back. Are we back on the podcast?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, yeah. That's the symbol. Cut it back in.
Which brings me back to the question I asked earlier, which is, what is success to you? Now, you answered with like paying your rent, and you went on this like story about Dublin being crazy right now. But I was actually more curious about the podcast itself. Like, what are the metrics you're looking for the podcast?
As far as metrics go, I don't have any. I'll be totally honest. I don't.
It doesn't have to be views or anything, but you have a goal in mind.
Sure, of course. I mean, I want to generate a revenue stream that is constant and something that I can do, that I don't have to fly to the other side of the planet to sort of generate, like.
And in podcasting, revenue is sponsors, basically.
Yes, realistically, when you look at it, like, I mean, if you think of kind of Spotify plays and YouTube views and that sort of stuff, I mean,
YouTube ad revenue is good, but Spotify revenue, the split is atrocious. Okay, so what is? But then you got metrics to worry about, because if you're trying to sell this to sponsors, you gotta have certain metrics to hit certain numbers that you want the sponsors to pay you.
Yeah, I mean,
do you have that business plan laid out at all, or is this just something like I'm improvising as I go?
I'll be honest with you now, and genuinely shout outs to Drift. Drift has been working much harder than I have. Like, I provide the content and he does everything else.
He's the pretty face that on front of the show, but you're the guy running this, right?
That's exactly what it is. Like, like I'm just the I sing the songs, he's written them, like, but like, I don't really have a plan. When I had this idea, I wanted to have conversations. That was my whole thing, and get different feedback from different, sides of the industry and where people come from and that sort of stuff. But I literally, just as I was down there, like, I just got a DM from Drift, shout outs again, and he just said, why don't we do Fuzzy Guard Distilled, where it's me going around events, having sort of a mini Fuzzy Guard experience where I talk about behind the scenes, what happens in the backstage in commentary, or talk to a stage manager, talk about, like, you know, just for like 10 minutes at a time, like, what's the worst part of your job, what's the best part of your job, like, and that sort of stuff, like, you know.
I'll tell you why you're not having that, because you are a podcast with 100 views per episode, where, like, if you're going to events and you probably have travel and expenses paid for,
Yes, sir.
but now you're paying for another person, because whatever company is hiring you for commentary is not hiring your cameraman, right?
True.
And that is way too big of an investment. Just like the expenses part of it is way too big of an investment for a podcast with this kind of exposure.
Sure.
Because the money you're bringing in from sponsors is not going to cover that expense.
Of course.
So as a business, it becomes not worth it to do it. But the fucked up part is, our creative brains love the idea so much that we will do it anyway. You know, we will pay out of our own pocket because we just like the idea. And sometimes it works, but it is so dumb to do. 90% of times it's just a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, like, so the way I looked at this, and like looking at views or retention or kind of demographics and where we're targeting to and that sort of stuff, that shit is basically outside of my pay grade. I don't really care. Like, and I'll be 100% honest with you. I don't focus
That's the job,
on
though.
that. I mean, yes, it is, absolutely, but that wasn't my goal. I'm not in this to make this the new Joe Rogan experience, or
Right. So you remember when we said about, like, people wanting to be YouTubers because they want to play video games for a living, and it's not until they fail that they know what content creation is?
am I heading to am I on that failure train right now? I
didn't say that. I didn't say that.
You see, I think the idea is good, right? And like, in terms of marketability, I think it's something that the FGC really needs. What this podcast is
two
doing.
guys getting drunk on a podcast.
But,
that sounds like very marketable. That sounds like sponsors are going to be all over that. You're going to have a random guy get drunk on your podcast every goddamn week. Damn, sign me up. How much do you want, Sam?
It at the root idea, yes, but I think the of humanization of these figures like yourself, or like any of these pro players, or any of that sort of stuff, that if I went onto your YouTube channel right now, I don't get to see you. I don't get to interact with you. Like, I don't.
You don't get to see me on this podcast.
I mean, do you know? Of course. Like, but like, what? Wait, what? What do you hit me with there, bro?
I just think every time someone's on camera, there's
Sure.
somewhat of a mask that comes down. Of course, like in a long-term podcast like this, the camera, the mask has to come down here and there because it's impossible to hold it for that long period of time. But people will see the real me more often if they just watch my live streams every day, because the mask will come down more often than on a 2-hour podcast
Fair.
that I'm doing on someone else's channel.
I mean,
Like, there might be a lot of stuff that I'm holding back on because I know it's not good for you to bring up such certain topics.
sure.
So how many episodes have you canceled so far?
I mean, there.
Yeah.
I don't want to reveal the magician's secrets, but there have been a couple. Or I say a couple.
Damn.
But
That's more than I thought.
I think what in my brain, there's a guy called Super Akuma, and he's an incredible player, really, really nice guy and stuff. And when I got into the scene, I wanted to meet Super Akuma, and I wanted to challenge him on some of his fucking views that he had about Tekken and that sort of shit. When I met him, it turned out that he was lovely, really nice guy, really open to conversation about the way he plays, but just not when the camera's on. When the camera's on, he's the fucking bad guy, and he's like, fuck you, you can't beat me, that's why. When I talk to him in person, he's like, yeah dude, I find it really interesting how some people say that this is the way to beat, and I'm like, Jesus fuck dude, this guy is really nice, like, you know, like a genuine human with, like, multi-dimensional. Whereas, like, you know, I'm sure it's the same with you in a sort of a different sense, but like what you were talking about, energy levels, If I met
Right.
you in an event and I'm expecting you to be YouTube you, and you're, hey, what's going on? What's the story? How's everything? And then I meet you, and you know, you just got food poisoning at a food truck or whatever. Like, you know, you're gonna be like, dude, this sucks. This sucks.
A lot
like,
of people would be like, this YouTuber is rude as hell. Behind the camera.
I mean,
Because they catch you at a bad moment, and that's their whole first impression of you.
Yep.
You know? Like, a lot of people are expecting that.
I mean,
not realizing, you know, that there's a lot of shit that happens. And honestly, to be fair, if you catch me with food poisoning, that's probably really bad luck. I don't have that often, you know? So, like, if you catch me in a bad mood, that's probably really unlucky, and fair enough. If that's the image you got from me, that I'm just like an asshole, that's fair enough. I mean, you got super unlucky, and that's not on you at all. That's just the circumstances of life.
I mean, that's just life. And I mean, I think that's a really important thing to say, that the personalities within the industry are also humans. Like, you know, like, our job isn't to entertain the masses when we're...
Speak for yourself.
Okay, I will. When I go to, and I keep bringing this up, and I have to stop because I reviewed some of the episodes and I realized I tell the same stories on like every episode.
I noticed that. I didn't want to bring it up. Like, you brought up a few of C4's and Dunk's episodes.
Dude, but that's the thing.
Already,
I messed it up so bad to have C4 and Dunk straight after each other, because in my brain, like, because they're not Tekken commentators, so I can't talk to them about events that we've done together, except for the one event that we've all done together, like, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I have one story about the industry that I keep.
That is it.
Yeah.
The next 100 episodes of
That's
are gonna be that one story.
It's just me telling it. But yeah, I mean, look.
When I said Marigolds on stream, you know what he said. It's just like, yo, so you're saying women should do the dishes? Hold on.
God. Oh God.
And then C4 started signaling to me. I thought it was acoustics, by the way. When you told that story on the C4 episode, you said C4 started signaling to me, and I thought something was wrong, and I took my headphones off, and it was like, Chimichanga. So I thought it was acoustics that did that.
No, that's
right.
C4. That's C4.
All right, that's crazier.
I'm just trying to think.
That was typical acoustics behavior.
And like, he had such a cheeky grin on his fucking face, man. He's just, I love that man, and I feel like that man is like, he is God's gift to commentary, because he fucking hates everything that commentators do, and yet he's still a successful commentator. Like, you know, he hates the fact that he has to be, you know, censored while he's talking about this sort of shit, and he hates networking, and he hates doing all of this sort of shit, and yet he still made Evo. Like,
C4 doesn't censor himself. C4 says he censors himself, but he doesn't. That's just who he is. He's fine. He's a censored human being by nature. What he thinks are hot takes are not. He's such a cool guy.
He is. He's an incredible human, man. I have so much respect for him. Yeah.
For some reason, C4 is the guy that I commentated with the most.
Yeah,
I started.
That's a great guy. I've never commentated with
he's chasing me. I'm not like, I started Wanted. He wasn't even on the Wanted card on my first episode on Wanted. Maybe the only episode so far. I don't know. but he wasn't on the card. As soon as he heard my name was in there, he's like, "Yo, can I get in on this?" I'm like, what? Like, he kicked someone else out.
Dude,
just to commentate with me on my Wanted debut. I don't know why he's coming for me.
He doesn't even understand how high a profile he is. But the fact that he can just sit in and he's just like, oh, Globku's on? I want to commentate with Globku. I don't care who you've got on. I will commentate with Globku now. Like, you know, man is like a phenom. Like, because he doesn't respect anything that the traditional commentators do. And yet he still holds his own and goes toe-to-toe with the biggest commentators in the world. Tasty Steve, Tyrant Damascus, all of these boys, like, you know, that, like, you know, you can't hold a candle to these guys when it comes to, when you start, that's the pinnacle. That's what you aim for. And he sits on a desk with him and tries to get him to swear. Like, what? Who does that? Man is crazy. You've picked up a fantastic mentor.
It's a cool side quest. But I get it. I get it. Like he has these kind of side challenges on his Twitch as well. Damascus too. But it took me a while to notice. But people can redeem points on his Twitch channel to make the commentator say certain words, right? So it's a word drop. Like someone redeems it and they say what the word is, and now the commentator has to find a way to say that word in commentary. And I feel like that's the most C4 thing ever.
The
because
most.
That man just wants to challenge himself. He just wants the next level of difficulty in commentary. Like this is normal difficulty. I want to go into hard and very hard. I just want to create challenges for myself. That is super C4 behavior. He imposes that on his commentators, but I appreciate it because I'm the same way. I'm like, give me something to do, you know? Like I've been commentating this game, Dragon Ball Fighters game, for the past hour or so. Give me a challenge now. I'm ready for it. And C4 having done it for years, I can only imagine how bored he gets just from simple commentary.
Sure. Yeah, it's. I mean, dude is like crazy good at the craft. Like, just if you look at it at the root of like what he does, that he breaks all of the rules that all of us have to adhere to, and
I don't see that.
Still,
I don't see him breaking any rules. I just see him being good at it.
You see, I think that there's like an almost safety standard. I suppose maybe I shouldn't call it rules, but like, you know, wear your fucking helmet, wear your goggles as you're doing welding.
I think there are a lot of commentators where, okay, yeah, he's a traditional commentator, and you get exactly what you expect out of like any commentator ever. And everything they say is the most predictable thing. They pop off on the most predictable moments. They are chill. They are saying the most expected and politically correct things ever, and that's boring. And I think in this day and age, that's not the rules anymore. The rules are to break the rules, because otherwise you're not going to make it. You're not going to distinguish yourself in this industry.
Fair.
This is someone from the outside looking in. I've just started commentary.
Right. I mean,
I think there is no other way to break in. Like, you can't break in by being the predictable commentator anymore.
Sure. Okay. I would argue that maybe then I was the last predictable commentator.
You're not a predictable commentator.
No?
No.
I mean, I'm just so you know, the guys within the European commentator scene called me like Mr. PC. Like,
okay.
Like I don't tend to.
I'm not saying that being PC is predictable, by the way.
Okay.
I'm saying like it's sometimes it's about just, okay, I'm being positive about everything. You know, I'm not calling out when something's obviously bullshit. When a player obviously messed up and dropped a combo, not even call it out. You know, just like keep being the Disney commentator almost. Like,
yes.
Just the brand friendly.
Okay. Disney. That's the word I like. Yeah. Disney commentator. Yeah. Everything is sunshine and rainbows. And no, of course he didn't drop that combo. It was a tactical reset. Nah, he fucked up, bro. Everybody knows he fucked up.
Like, that's a drop. That's a drop. Whoops.
No, I do it. Yeah, I understand that. I don't know. It's a weird world, man. Like, commentary is odd at the best of times. Like, you know, I keep saying it's the Venn diagram of we have to be super nerds and extroverts, and like in that tiny little sliver, that's where commentators lie. That because there's not a lot of extroverts in the super nerd field, and there's not a lot of super nerds in the extroverts field, but when they get together, they make commentators, you know?
It's an interesting perspective. Yeah, never thought of it that way.
It's the only way it works, man. Because we have to know enough about the game.
I think that implies that nerds have to be introverts.
Yes, 100%. I mean, have you ever been to an event? Yes, absolutely. Like,
I think the definition of a nerd has changed over the years, and a lot of nerds are extroverts now. So that Venn diagram is not as tight as you might imagine.
Okay, so yeah, I've been in this 7 years now. Like, I started commentary from the start of Tekken 7, so about 7 years. When I started, I mean, look, I go back even farther, like to primary school. That like when we used to get like demo discs for the PlayStation, and you have to swap them. Oh, I've got the demo for Spyro. Oh, I've got the demo for Metal Gear Solid. Shit, can I borrow that for the weekend? I'll swap you on Friday. Dude, that was like hushed conversations. Whereas now, like, you know, kids walking around with Minecraft hats on, you know? And I'm like, dude.
Fortnite shirts.
Dude,
yeah.
If I was a kid and I wore a video game t-shirt into school, dude, man, my lunch money's getting taken, to put it politely.
I do that all the time, but I was always like in the underground group almost.
Oh, right.
I was in the metal kids group, you know?
Let's go.
So we were, yeah. So it's not like it was never the popular kids, but it was an accepted group socially, always. It's like, okay, there's that group over there. They're doing their own thing. It's fine.
Right, okay. So the group was accepted socially, but the individuals weren't. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the individuals weren't accepted into the mainstream, but the group itself was accepted socially.
Right, yeah. As in, like, you were part of the sort of hierarchy of the jocks, the goths, the math geeks or whatever.
There's a mystery over there.
Yeah.
There's a cloud. We don't associate, but we know they're there.
Everybody wearing like baggy black jeans with chains, like wallet fucking chains hanging off it. Been there, Holmes. Been there.
I've never been big on the chains, but yeah.
Dude, I was
that vibe.
When I was a metalhead back in the day, going to all ages youth gigs back in Ireland, man, chains were the shit. If you didn't have a chain, dude, I remember it was so good. Do you guys have Primark or pennies in?
Yeah, we do.
Primark, which is pennies in Ireland, they used to sell wallet chains for like €3, and like you couldn't wear them for more than a week because they were copper sprayed with some silver paint. Like they went green.
When Primark opened over here, I'm like, I'm finally gonna realize my lifelong dream of buying the same pair of socks, so I never have to match socks ever again. And I bought 20 pairs of socks.
You bought 20 pairs?
I bought 20 pairs of socks. It cost me around €50 or something.
Okay.
Every time I wore them, they came apart on my feet. Like my feet were just dirty. My feet were just black because the stock would just undo itself on my feet. I throw them on the washer. I threw them all on the washer. Like I undid all the pairs. I threw them all on the washer. Okay, maybe now it is safe to wear them. It never was. They all ended up in the
It's
garbage.
like paper thin. You can like see through them and shit. Like
they weren't even like they were pretty thick, but somehow like every time you wear them with like the heat of the feet or whatever, like they would just leave black shit on your feet.
I know exactly the feeling. Exactly the feeling. Except
I have yet to realize my lifelong dream of just not having to pair socks ever again.
Dude, you are such a fighting game player. I don't know how you haven't found this industry like earlier. Like, you know, like I mean that sounds like a real FGC fucking mantra right there. Like that you just have.
There are a lot of FGC folks that have like they're really proud in their drip. I mean, Reversal has this drip check series on their channel where they're like, okay, let's drip check these guys at the events and whatnot. I haven't really seen a lot of people with like sock game, but I know sock game is a big deal in some circles. I don't know about the FGC though.
Dude, so Markman is one of the guys. Markman is one of the dudes, right? And like when I went to my first major, I just wore whatever was there, and I was like, I'm like, this is what you see for me for broadcast. So
right.
T-shirt, hoodie. Sometimes I don't wear a hoodie, whatever. Like, so I just need a good T-shirt. No problem.
Is the cap intentional too? Do you always wear a cap?
No, I definitely don't. The cap is only when I fly Ryanair, funny enough, because Aer Lingus allow me to bring liquids overseas. Okay. I'm not buying a fucking €7 tin of fucking hairspray.
Because my image of you as a commentator is with a cap.
With the caps, dude. I have a full collection of caps. I used to own a streetwear brand.
But then you leave the commentary and cap comes off.
That's, I mean, basically, like it's just because like I don't want this this odd shit, like, you know, like fucking, if I can spray the shit out of it, fucking keep it in a place, that's my vibe. But no, dude, this guy Mark, man, right?
Right.
He was always the big dog in Tekken. Like, you know, he's on the committee for Evo and that sort of stuff. Like, you know, like he's a big dog, right? Like, he worked with Nike to make a custom signature Air Force Ones,
Right,
for the Evo Moment 37, which is like iconic.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
It has
So,
the inputs.
yeah, so it's got the input on like the underside of the tongue and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he made that, and then he shows up to an event with shoes, like, you know, and I'm like, oh, dude, the fucking shoes look kind of crazy. What are they? And he's like, oh, they're this limited edition Japanese exclusive. You can only get them in this single shop that's run by a grandfather and grandmother. Like, but they also cost about $8,500 like dollars, like, to buy. Like, but I just happened to pick one up because I was in Japan at the time, and I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm wearing my, you know, €40 running shoes that I bought out of fucking Lifestyle Sports, man. Like, you know, like, shit, dude. Maybe I should have, like...
I will never ask anyone about clothes. I will never, like... I'll say, hey, you look good today. But that's like, about as far as I'll go.
I should use that one instead.
That's about as far as I'll never ask someone where their shoes are from. Like, first of all, because I don't care. Second of all, because I know they're going to go into this whole tangent if they actually care about it.
Fair.
And it's like, I feel like I should care more about how I present myself, being a content creator and everything. But how I feel, how I address it is usually like, I like that style, I'm gonna steal that, and like I just steal elements from here and there, and that's it. If it comes to the end and it's like someone says, "Hey, you look good," like that's the win for me. I never want to go on this rant about where I got this shirt or where I got this.
Fair.
These shoes.
I
Like,
see your V-neck though. I see your V-neck. I see what's going on.
It is not a V-neck. It's just not. It was just a position.
Oh, you were just pulling it down. All right, I see you,
I
man.
wasn't.
You're trying to get some clicks on your OnlyFans. Let's go, dude, man.
Yeah, it's just my tits muscles pulling it down as a V-neck.
So I had the thing. I used to think grey t-shirts. That was where I'm at.
Not trying
like,
very hard.
Whatever. I'm done. Podcast over. But grey t-shirts for me, right? That was like, I don't know what it was in my head, but I was like, that's what looks good on me. I did a show in Berlin, and all I brought there was 2 days of streaming and then 1 day of whatever prep. So a black t-shirt, 2 grey t-shirts, right?
Whoa, wait. So that's kind of risque. The black t-shirts, you know.
Black t-shirt for prep.
A bit outside of your comfort zone. Right?
I'm gonna go around, I'm gonna shake hands, I'm gonna drink some beers with some black t-shirt on, right?
It's very brave of you.
Broadcast art, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Like, but dude, I swear to God, if you go back and watch that, man, I don't know what it is about grey t-shirt, but I got tits. I got tits on grey t-shirt. I don't know what it is about this colour t-shirt, but there's just a shadow. Maybe the light was coming down from there, but I will never wear a grey t-shirt again. I'm like, black t-shirt. When I'm planning my outfit to go to a show, it's like black or white. Like, maybe colour, never grey. Tits. Right. Tits come out, man.
I mean, is that a grey t-shirt you have on right now?
It is a grey t-shirt I have on now.
Can we see the tits?
No. I don't want to turn the direction of this podcast into something sexual.
I think the viewers would very much like to see the tits.
No, man. I can't, man. I got some tits. I got some tawty taws, man.
Oh, that's why you got the hoodie on.
Mm-hmm. That's why I put it on this morning, and I was like, I look good. Fucking.
I believe you looked at the camera with a straight face and said, I will never wear a grey t-shirt again while wearing a grey t-shirt.
I will wear a grey t-shirt with a hoodie, and I'm a fucking.
True. There are clothes that just don't don't sit well with you, regardless of color. Maybe it's not even the gray. Maybe it's that specific T-shirt. You know, I have I have a ton of black hoodies, and some of them just don't sit well with me. It's something about the format. I mean, I don't know. Someone's in fashion and they know what they're talking about. To me, I just put it on and go, I don't feel good in this. Next.
Fair. I mean, yeah, it's interesting when, I mean,
is it, or have we reached the bottom of the conversation now?
No. I was about to say, I think about 50% of the T-shirts and hoodies that I have in my wardrobe are shit that I got given. Like,
yeah,
you know,
that's what I mean. I mean, what I mean is that we've reached the point where two people who don't care about clothing are talking about clothing.
That's yes, you're absolutely right.
We've reached the bottom of the
interesting fact that not a lot of people know, but I had a fashion brand. I had a streetwear brand for
what?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
That's where all of the snapbacks come from. So the majority of snapbacks you see me wearing, if they don't say PlayStation or Bandai Namco on them, I probably designed them. But it was
You're gonna make a fuzzy guard snapback.
I could do that while we're talking right now. Like genuinely,
wow.
That's
the commentator skill of listening to the producer in your ear while producing something else. Yeah.
I've already made 6. So like I had like a range of T-shirts and stuff that came out. Now it did unfortunately flop, and it was just one of those things that you just kind of have to let go and stuff. But yeah, I was very involved with the streetwear side of the world for maybe about a year, maybe about 2 years. So I would understand fashion in the same way as a fan understands a video game. That I was never big in it. I was never one of the players that people would look to, but I get why he chose to do that combo, like instead of that sort of stuff. A lot of research and a lot of homework and stuff went into it, and like an interesting fact, the hoodie was invented by Champion. Like that was a thing that the hoodie is just such a universal fashion statement or whatever. It's made by Champion.
Who is Champion?
You'll recognize their brand if you Google their brand. They're all over America. Their C has like a red, white, and blue in it, and that sort of stuff.
When was it? Are we talking about like the 1940s now? What happened?
Not even, dude. Because I mean, graffiti was like a thing. That's where the popularity.
So 80s, 90s. About the hoodie, though, I do not know when the hoodie came into being.
It was a sports jersey that they wanted that you could train in sports out in the rain, so it had a hat attached to it.
It makes so much sense. The history of the hoodie is an article on the Rolling Stone, which probably will tell us when it came to be. I'm too drunk to read this.
Absolutely. Are you getting drunk, man? I'm really enjoying our conversation right now.
I'm so lightheaded. I can go for another 2 hours now.
Let's go. Where's your next event? Where's your next event? As far as esports goes, let's bring it back to esports stories from the bar. Where's your next? Are you going to I presume you're going to UFA next year, right? If you're right about that, I'm a fucking launch a firework for you.
Okay. So it's still going to be a lot of online stuff.
Sure.
You have been commentating for 7 years, you said?
7 years shittily, 3 years semi-professionally, 1 year professionally. Yeah.
All right. So how long after you started commentary did you start attending like international majors?
Damn.
How long did it take?
International majors? Fuck.
Because I will tell you what, I am not leaving my country for a minor.
No, I mean...
That is a privilege I have because I'm a content creator, and like every day that I spend outside my home is money that I'm losing, right?
Sure.
So that is a privilege that I have. Of course, if you are a commentator, you know, just hustling, maybe it is worth it for you. But for me, I'm not leaving my home for a minor. That is not what I'm doing. I will commentate online tournaments. and I will commentate majors. If I cannot make it into majors, that is the end of my career. I stop at online.
Wow.
Which I think I've succeeded.
Sure.
To this point, at this point, I have succeeded in online commentary, and I can stay at this level until I am canceled for saying something outrageous in commentary.
You see, I think where we start in commentary, we don't normally have the guidance of some fucking master sage like C4 to explain to you shit. So we have to make those mistakes.
We're acting like C4 was born like this. C4 has years of experience.
Of course. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, and like, the only reason he has so much experience is because he has fucked up the exact same way that every commentator on the scene has fucked up before. Like, you know, doing that shit show, saying that shit thing, like, you know, like doing all of these like rookie mistakes.
He says he likes tuna on pizza. Like, what kind of commentator?
I also said that. Wait. Wait. You said you have to decide.
Yeah, okay, all right. We're talking about
a gun to the head
a while back.
Tuna or pineapple.
I said you have to pick a team. Tuna on pizza, pineapple on pizza.
Tuna.
Right?
Tuna.
And history shows and okay.
Tuna.
So this was born on Wanted. The first episode of Wanted that I commentated. And see that the one that C4 decided to hijack. And C4 was like, "Yo, tuna on pizza," and I was like, "Pineapple, man!" Like, and he thought that was outrageous. And I said, you know, I respect everyone's choice. If you want to get tuna on pizza, that's absolutely fine. If you are the kind of person that tells me that tuna on pizza is better than pineapple, I do not understand you as a human being. And we had Damascus, we had C4, we had basically the entire Wanted crew saying tuna on pizza was the normal way and that I was a degen. And we had a poll on Damascus stream and pineapple won. And I decided to hold another poll independently without any bias and just said, you have to pick a team, tuna on pizza, pineapple on pizza. Pineapple won by like 80% to 20.
People don't know.
They made me feel like an outcast. They made me feel like I was in the wrong there. Like I was the degen. C4 was on the wrong side of history. Again, just saying. And so are you, Sam.
Nope, it's tuna.
If I had known you were a tuna guy, I would have never accepted to do this podcast.
That's it. Can you imagine if, like, on the YouTube, it just cuts off now? Like, that this is where the shit evolved.
I'm done.
He just hangs up the call. He's fucking, fuck you guys. Like, I'm done. Like... Speaking of ending, we must actually look at wrapping this shit up. Globku.
We were going for another 2 hours, and your editor was gonna hate this.
Dude, I am 100% with you. I could sit and chat with you for. Oh, still so good. I could sit.
Filling up another cup, so I don't. Of course. For wrapping up.
Right.
Early.
Do you know what we'll do? Right.
There's a whole segment in this podcast that was cut off because we went way too long, and you will never know what was said during that segment.
That's what I'm about to say, man. Fucking, I'm about to stop recording on the regular YouTube, but the Patreons. No, that's where they go. Let's go, dude. Look, I can do that. Look, I can do the plug thing. Look,
bro, I am ramping up. Like, Patreon is gonna get the most drunk. Me. That's a very good promotion.
Yo, your favorite YouTuber gets drunk. That's going to be my clickbait.
You're going to get the full screen Sam going. If you like that episode, please let me know.
Wait.
You had no sound during that scene. I hope you know that.
I had no sound. Oh no.
Yeah. I hope you know that you went full screen and there were no audio bars on the mixer.
Oh god.
You recorded zero audio during that.
Shoutouts to Drift. Shoutouts to Drift. He is definitely cutting that like 10 minutes ago.
I think it's funny if he leaves it in, but I don't know. He's the sober editor putting this shit together.
He is the very sober editor that sends me the most fucking dude. He makes me question my character. Like, you know.
Sam, I've been drinking for 2 hours.
That's what's up, man.
This is a genius podcast idea. I started this podcast saying I don't know what this is about, but now I get it.
You get it? It's
No, I
just a
get it.
chat. It's a chat between friends. You know?
Yeah, true.
That's the whole shit, like, you know?
Are we friends? I came off of UFA going, I made 2 friends in this event. That was Sam and Dunk.
Of course.
And Dunk, I talked to him afterwards, and he say, "Dude, I just said the same to my mate." Like, it was like, I think I'm friends with Globku, and like we were feeling that, but I don't think I've ever said that to you.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. I would class you
Wow,
as...
he did not say it back. Just a warning
Whoa,
to all the
whoa,
viewers.
whoa,
He did not
whoa,
say it back.
whoa,
You're right. He
whoa.
was like, "I appreciate it.
Let
I
me
appreciate
finish.
it.
Let me
I
finish
appreciate
my
it."
point. Let me finish my point. I said, I appreciate what you said, man. Absolutely. From coming home from that event, in exactly the same way, like in the same way, like that my you see, this is a real awkward thing, right? Because I didn't know you before UFA, right? And I almost felt embarrassed that, like, because as soon as, because I was out like in front of the venue and you walked past and Dunk went, "Yo shit, bro, that's Globku." And I said, "Who the fuck is Globku, bro? I don't know who that." And he goes, "Big YouTuber, man. Like, you should definitely go chat to him about content creation and shit." Like, and I was like, "Ah, cool." Like, you know, like another person in the industry or whatever. And then outside of our industry conversation, like, you know, like, "Oh, so what are you doing?" Because I think we had a brief conversation about that. You told me that you were changing from Twitch to YouTube Live and that sort of stuff, like, whatever.
Maybe it was around that time. Yeah.
Yeah, outside of that conversation, I feel like that's where our friendship developed. Like, we weren't industry friends. I feel like sitting
No,
down
I think our friendship developed when I was like, everyone had this chimichanga joke, and I was like, "Yo, Sam, what's up with the chimichanga?" And Sam explained it to me, and then he turned to the rest of the group, which was mostly black people. He went, "Yo, Globku just asked me, the most white guy person ever, like, oh, what is a chimichanga?" Like, this guy's all right. This guy's okay.
I think, yeah.
And I knew the story. I just like. I knew the Maximilian story. I just did not commit it to memory because it was such a non-issue for me. Like, oh, you messed up. Like, it's not a fucking racist, obviously. Like, it was such a non-story, but I didn't know that was like FGC lore, that people actually stuck with it.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I've told the story about T4 coming up as I'm on broadcast and saying, "Yo, say chimichanga on broadcast." Like, I was like, "Fuck you, homie." You
told the story in this episode. You're not only repeating stories in between
Dude,
episodes, you are
God
repeating the
damn
story
it.
in the same episode right now.
I need to focus up. Tell a different story. So one time I was skydiving. No, shit. Wait.
I've done it too.
No.
Have you actually?
I've never done skydiving.
Oh, I recommend everyone goes.
I'm terrified of heights.
I was terrified too.
I feel
It is a once in a lifetime thing. I would not repeat it. It is absolutely terrifying, but I would do it once in my life. I would not want to die before skydiving.
Oof. I don't know, man. It's a wild world there up there. They invented planes to work. Like,
yeah,
we don't need to learn to skydive.
They also invented parachutes to work. It's fine.
Fair. Do you think the parachute came before the plane? I think not.
It's a great question.
Wait. Didn't fucking Leonardo da Vinci
right?
have an
Yeah.
idea?
While inventing flight, I think they invented the glider.
I feel like
there's more years of parachute engineering than there is plane engineering.
Damn. Well, you just got me.
Ah.
Yeah. Right, well, fuck this. I'm out. Fuck it.
I blocked low and then I blocked high.
I just gonna say, man, fucking Globku, thank you so much for coming in, dude. It's been super interesting. I feel like to get almost an outsider's but yet an insider's perspective into the industry that we're in is so interesting. Like, it's it really just kind of shows how complex what we do is.
I guess I never thought of it that way, because when you get new commentators, it's usually people starting with commentary and not having anything else
Yeah.
than prior. And in my case, I'm coming in from like already an established content creator trying to break into a new space. So I'm bringing all of this experience into that new space and maybe a different perspective too. And I never thought of it that way until you just said that. It is actually a unique perspective. I don't know anyone else who has done this route. I know a lot of commentators who have done commentary and pivoted to content creation, but not the other way.
Yeah, I feel like
Maybe this is a mistake.
it's never been done before. I don't think it's a mistake. I think that
no one's done it.
I think
I might be wasting my time.
not
So-
in the slightest. I think that commentators are like singers in bands. That there isn't the right way of doing it. There's obviously certain traits that you need to share,
Right.
but I think that, you know, like if you look at the difference between Leonard Cohen and Billie Eilish, they're both singers, but they're so totally different in terms of the spectrum of what a singer is. Like Leonard Cohen can't really sing, and Billie Eilish does pop music. Like, you know, like they're classed under the same umbrella, but it's a different vibe. I feel like that's a lot of the same. It's like painters or poets or anything. God, man, that make me sound so sanctimonious. Holy shit, dude. Like, you know, commentary is like poetry, bro. And Jesus Christ, like, I got distracted in my singer's mentality here.
What happens?
What?
Something. Where's my?
You okay?
Oh, okay. No, yeah. My camera disappeared.
Oh.
Maybe you skipped words. I don't know what happened with Discord. But that did make me think of like actors, because you brought up the Billie Eilish example, and I thought of Jared Leto, who started as like the lead singer of 30 Seconds to Mars and broke
Sure.
into acting. The same way, like a lot of people just break into acting from like acting schools and whatnot, and try to make it as big celebrities. Jared Leto broke into acting with already having a career. Like he didn't need acting,
Sure.
but it was something that he wanted to pursue. Also,
Yeah. I mean,
maybe that's not. I don't want to be the Jared Leto of commentary.
dude,
Maybe.
that's it, man. That's it. You're the Jared Leto. Come break me down.
Cue the Call of Duty montage.
Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah.
No, but Globku, I just want to say, man, thank you for jumping in here. I really do appreciate it. It's so interesting to get your side of the story here when it comes to, you know, because I feel like I've been biased, and everybody I've brought in have either been commentators or Tekken players, whereas you are new to commentary and have, you know, not gotten into Tekken. So it's a very, very interesting conversation, and I do appreciate you coming in, man.
And Tekken is dead to me until they announce rollback, so I will still not get into Tekken.
Damn.
I don't care. I'm not dealing with bad netcode again. I just don't care.
Okay, and I think we're gonna leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Shout outs to Globku for coming in. Check out his YouTube, check out his Twitter that's there. Globku, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for having me, man.